Welcome everybody to our latest session of the Restoration of Cariele. Folks, this is session 50. So congrats everybody that we've made a campaign of it 50 sessions and the end is nowhere in sight. So a little clap on the back for all of us. But yeah, as usual, do a quick recap of what occurred last session and then we will get underway with tonight's session. So team, you'll likely recall in last session, you guys started off in the throne room. Lord Tannen was giving you guys sort of a rundown of everything that had happened recently and some of the things that he was planning for, trying to figure out exactly what your thoughts were on the matter and get a good solid plan for the future. So in no particular order, some of the things you guys reviewed were things like looking at the ledgers, looking at the accountant books and seeing how much money was coming in, how much money was going out. You guys reviewed that. Overall, you guys did pretty successful at the domain level, and I believe it was about 10 gold bars you guys collected, which certainly helped your treasury. You guys also were discussing some plans as far as how exactly to move forward in the future. There was a general sentiment that the team wants to build up the armed forces in Cariele and have more units at arms and ready to go. Of course, Lord Tannen cautioned about making sure you always have the funds to pay for these additional units. The maintenance cost, of course, is a never-ending expense when you have those units. But that seemed to be the general idea of what the team wanted to sort of build towards. You guys also managed to pay off Blixel's debt to the NRC, as that essentially was loaned from the bank, from the treasury to the NRC. So it was kind of like a pass-through loan, you might think of it as. So those monies went back to the treasury of Cariele, but the debt was then cleared and no additional interest payments were accrued on that debt. You guys also had a chance to take your downtime actions, and 4 of you were incredibly successful. 1 of you was not, and those complications are still in the offing, of course. You guys also discussed this upcoming wedding, how you wanted to plan for it, if there was anything particular or special that you wanted to do. You guys also had some time to take care of some individual activities. So Tavern went back after receiving a missive from his friend Franco, made his way back into the city, into that sort of underground arena area where Franco filled him in on a new creature that had been brought to the arena. And apparently, according to Franco, this new creature has defeated others that have fought against it. So the organizers of that arena were looking for some more sturdy folks that might be able to go in there and actually put on a really good show for the audience, make everybody some money. So Franco relayed that offer to Tavern, essentially saying, hey, you and your buddies come back down. You guys did so well the first time. Why don't you come back and see how you fare against these new creatures? In that conversation, Franco was being a little bit quiet when he would say some sort of specialized knowledge or probably information not just your average person gets. But because they're friends, Franco was filling Tavern in on some details on the down low. That was enough information that when Tavern left Franco, made his way back to the team and kind of explained this set of circumstances before the team. You guys were able to put together with Celine's assistance that the creature in question was something known as a giant frilled lizard, and you guys knew a little bit of information on these creatures, primarily that they had an ability to stoke fear in their opponents when they charged them. You guys debated whether to take up this offer or head back there and do this fight. You obviously could make some money doing this, but you also thought that maybe this wouldn't be the best look. The counselors for the city and for the country going there and fighting in this like underground / illegal fighting arena. So there's a little bit of debate there, but ultimately the nays won. So you guys decided to let him know that that was not something that you were interested in pursuing. You guys also took care of some other odds and ends, like at the personal level, and had some various outcomes there. However, the next sort of big event that occurred is that we learned through no one's fault. We don't even remember who rolled it, but the random event this time was an assassination. And no, we didn't know exactly what that meant, of course, but eventually, closer to the end of the session, Celine, unfortunately, was targeted for this assassination in the form of her opening a book, and there was some essence of ether inside of the book, which could have knocked her out for a very long time, but luckily for her, her constitution rolls were on fire, and she was good. So noticing this, she immediately decided she wanted to try to figure out who exactly it is that might have started this ploy, who put this poison in this book that she was studying on the giant language, and try to get to the bottom of this. So she called a quick meeting with the rest of the counselors, met them down in the actual council chambers itself, sort of filled folks in, and then the plan started coming aplenty. There was several that mentioned, putting saline out there as bait, maybe having her pretend that she was knocked unconscious and see maybe if someone came to collect her or what exactly the next steps were. But I believe the team was sort of still up in throwing ideas around, not sure exactly what to do. But the plan for this session, the team decided that they do want to look into this event and see if they can find who is behind it. So we have a little bit of who done it for us tonight. And team, that's my quick and scattered recap of what occurred last week. Does anybody like to add anything that I missed?
Yeah, so we learned also that Riverford is not feeling very patriotic lately, and is not needs to be morale needs to be increased. So I don't how we could do that except till next council session, but we need to keep that in our minds as a goal to raise the morale in Riverford.
Yes. Now, because we already discussed that, what I'll ask for a little bit of an extra question on this one. Do you remember what it was that caused the low morale in Riverford? Or do you happen to remember the domain action that you can take to raise loyalty?
Yeah, it's like aggravate or something opposite of what I was thinking. It's aggravate or something.
You're so close.
You are
Not
so
aggravate.
close.
It's another A word.
It is
If you would like to look in the handout section and find that while we just burn time
Okay.
here, we'll totally give you that inspiration.
All right, I'm gonna look. Go ahead. What else anyone got?
Can I just add? It was caused by the weather being so crappy.
It was. That's an assist. Anything else specific to add, Blixel?
It was hail on that, and it was hail that made them mad at us, I guess.
Yeah, essentially it was like repeated amounts of weather. So you guys are kind of tag teaming the same point. Since Gordon brought it up first, I'm assuming he knows the action. I'm going to give him this one. But was there anything else you wanted to bring up specific, Blixel, that you could add on to that for your own chance at inspiration?
No, just like how Gordon says, we're gonna use the agitate action.
All right, that's what I was looking for. So sorry, Gordon, your inspiration got stolen. So Blixel, you could go take the inspiration for that one because you had both the reason and the fix. So yeah, you got that one. Anybody else?
Just testing my mic. Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
It's a little low for me, Lib.
Cool, thanks.
All right. Well, if there is nothing else anybody like to add, let's go ahead and dish out a card for everyone. Take a moment to review your card, and we will jump into the session. Okay, folks, so you guys are still in the council chamber, so let's go ahead and get you guys back over there. All right, and as a reminder, you guys have just arrived here in the council chambers. You've been speaking briefly due to this assassination attempt upon Celine, and you guys are currently on the 9th day of the month. So obviously,
whoever.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Your plan. Yeah, I paused there for a moment. Just wanted to add on real quick. Your plan was to try to investigate or look more for where the source of this poisoning might have started. So, if you're thinking what to do next, that's probably a good place to start.
Who poisons a book?
They must really hate learning.
They hate what? Learning?
Yeah, they poison the book.
I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Sorry.
Could just be me though, but
No, I think your mic volume is low or something. But yeah, or they want to target the one person around here that reads.
Sometimes if you can think of the, well, I guess we know why. I was saying sometimes if you know the why, you can find the who, but it wasn't me.
Nobody said it was.
Wait, what's the why?
I'm thinking it's the cultists. Don't you think?
Well, like, why would someone want to kill Celine, right? So we figure out the why, and we can find the who, and
Yeah.
well, remember it wasn't really to kill, if I remember right, moments ago. I think it was more to incapacitate, right? So I'm thinking, probably somebody could have put a poison in there to kill her, but instead they just seemed to want to knock her out.
Yeah.
Kidnapping.
okay, well, that's okay. Kidnap. Okay, so if we're gonna want to kidnap Celine for
Well, what have you been learning about lately, Saline, with that big brain of yours?
Well, the book in question that was poisoned was regarding the giant language. In the inevitable event that the issue brought to our attention by that lizard folk comes to us again, I thought of I thought about getting ahead of that, uh, and maybe having some way to communicate with the aggressors if possible. But um,
I think it just happened in coincidence because they knew you were taking books out of the library and they just probably picked one at random. That's what I'm guessing, but I don't know.
well, if they've been watching me, they've probably seen me with it, knowing that I consult it regularly. So it makes sense.
None of this makes sense.
well, I mean, if you got it from the library, then is that our first lead? Because I think
Well,
the plan of using you as bait is argued against.
I
well,
But we
could
had
I could
bits.
touch up your face, make you look real sick and pale.
Or we could
I
burn down the library.
well, let's not burn down the library. The library didn't do anything wrong. Um,
Are you
your
sure?
to your question, Gordon, I got the book from the library several days ago, and I've been opening it to all manner of pages since. This was the first time today that something happened. Um,
Okay, yeah, I see.
so the poison was planted in the book sometime after that, probably even very recently.
That's how you read a book? Just opening all pages willy nilly like that? That's crazy. Is that why you're so smart?
I consult various chapters as necessary, but yes, I've read the whole thing through before.
Yeah, I had some books in my room before. They had a lot of powder on them, but I found out that was just dust. I think that's different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Books make good doorstops.
You know what? My money's on this being someone that loves the dread. They don't want you finding out about the dread. You know what I mean?
You could be right, yes, but there's a lot of different possibilities, and we're not going to know for sure until we catch this person. Worth noting that we're assuming I'm the only target, but it may just be that I'm only the first, so maybe the rest of you should watch out for potential attempts on you as well.
Yeah, I promise I won't open up any books. Good answer. Good idea.
I was going to suggest that they might tailor their attempts more to your tastes, but yes.
So, what about using locate object in this sort of investigation? If, like, you were able to, like, the bad guy doesn't know that you survived it. So, what if you what if you left it somehow where we could locate where that book goes, like the perpetrator is going to poison you, or maybe turn it back to the library and he needs to check it out so he can make sure no one else gets ethered. This kind of thing. That's what I was thinking.
That's not a bad idea if they have a conscience at all.
You want to track the book?
Yeah, I have the ability to locate an object, of course, based on DM's approval. But we could use it as put a tracking device on there, and maybe I could find it wherever it goes.
So, as you are having this conversation in the council room, does Saline currently have the book in her possession?
That is an excellent question. When the poisoning happened earlier today?
It did, yes. Yep. So, shortly after that occurred, you called everybody together here. So, you can assume somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes have elapsed since that event.
Yeah, I think she would have it on her, closed, of course, but she would want to bring it as, I don't know, evidence or something. I don't know.
Fair enough. So, it is on her person. Is it like out on the table? Is it inside a backpack? Or what are we thinking?
Probably inside the backpack, but I can produce it if necessary.
Yeah, well, I'd like to see it.
Well, let's put it way over there. She points at the end of the table and maybe like picks it up with mage hand and drops it on the far end over there, where it's not like immediately in anyone's faces if there's still poison inside.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm gonna walk over there and look at it and get a good look, to make sure I can at least recognize it and be familiar with the object if we're going to locate object route.
Before you look at it and examine it, I'm going to use the loot. I think. Hold on one second. And cast protection from poison.
All right.
Okay.
And you're casting that upon yourself?
No, I'll cast it on Gordon if he's going to examine the book.
Okay. Let's see. What kind of a casting time do we have on that? Looks like it's just a one action, and this lasts for an hour. All right, so you play your loot a bit and reach out, touching upon Gordon. And Gordon, you have this effect upon you.
All right. So, I would like to get familiar with this object. Um, let's see. Specific object known to me as long as you have seen it up close within 30 feet at least once. Once. I actually list that one. Alternatively, the spell can locate the nearest object of a particular kind. Well, and it's just obviously blocked. So, I'll get within 10 feet of it and just study it, Adam. I don't think I need to do much more in order to satisfy the reasoning for locate object.
So I would say to be familiar with it, you would have to like turn through its pages because otherwise it's just a cover, right? And there's many, many books. So if you're trying to get to the point where you're familiar with this specific book, you do need to leaf through its pages.
All right. So I get the sense I'm not quite as familiar as I need to be with it, and I'll say, looks like I might have to thumb through it if we're gonna go through this bait, like put a tracking device on this book if we think we could use it. So
Well,
what do you guys think?
I have another idea that's a little riskier. It would involve destroying the poison that we have in the book.
Well, my willing ears are listening.
That spell of yours, it can find types of stuff, right?
Yeah, I can locate the nearest object of a particular kind, such as, I don't know, kind of apparel, jewelry, furniture, tool, or weapon, even.
What about poison?
No, I don't think that's going to work.
No, it couldn't find what the closest.
That's smart though. I like
of
that.
that kind of poison? Because that would show if they had extra, they might still have it on them.
But surely there are only so many alchemists, poisoners, that kind of thing in town. Perhaps if Tavard's network of uh, subordinates knows something about the more illicit dealings, we should try to track down the seller in
Hmm.
the city, see if they know anything about who they've sold to
Oh.
recently.
This is a good idea. I'm going to familiarize myself with this book. We're going to leave it somewhere. We're going to leave it in like a general population area when we go out to find this alchemist. And then if we come back and the book's gone, I'll pop my locate object.
Well, what happens if you have just one? I'm sorry, but what happens if you have just one of the servants going, "Hey, somebody left a book here. Let me go put it back and get this place clean."
Well, of course, yeah, that's an option. That's a thing.
It's definitely inert, though, right?
I don't
Because
know.
maybe they'd like pick it up and swim through it and get poisoned.
All right, Adam, I'm going to get familiar with it.
All
Haley
right.
puts an N95 on.
So, Gordon, you start thumbing through this book. You do notice, well, actually, why don't you go ahead and give me a blind check? We'll see how much you notice.
Okay.
It has pages, and there's writing on those pages.
Oh my god. All right. Let me I can't hero point that obviously. Okay.
If you want to, you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, I think I should.
So what I will say is you definitely notice there is this kind of off odor to the book. So you get this a bit of a scent to you. And as you're like kind of thumbing through the book, you realize there's like one particular page that it seems like that scent's the strongest. But even where it's the strongest, it's not very strong. You get the impression this is very much diluted. Let's see. You also look to be quite well versed in medicine. Is that correct, Gordon?
Yes.
So I'll say, based on this check as well, you also know that essence of ether is often used for medical purposes. So this is the kind of thing where if, let's say, you needed somebody to be knocked out for a period of time, it would be, could be used in this effect as well. So your, thought of looking at various alchemists to find this, it certainly is possible it could be there. It could be used as a poison thing, but it's also used for medical purposes. So that might open up even a wider search range.
Like the infirmary.
Did you piss off a doctor?
Well, at least I'm familiar with it. I don't know what the hell it says. There's a bunch of funny letters in there, but it did occur to me that maybe an infirmary would be using the essence of ether or some type of medical facility or alchemists.
Yeah, let's check them all. I mean, do we have someone like that on staff here?
God, I would hope so. What if I get really bad heartburn?
You're talking like a castle physician or something like that?
Yeah, anything like that.
Not really. I mean, that's not an expense that the previous administration ever took on. So, if somebody got sick, they would, call for somebody like that and have them come. There's nobody that's just like here on retainer at all times.
Okay, and then would this ether thing be something that could be located by locate object, or?
You're saying, could you locate another, say, vial of essence of ether through it? Yeah, I'm sure you could. I'm not sure that's going to do what you want, though. But yeah, you should be able to do that with locate object.
All right, well, I know there's lots of shady doctors out there. Quacks, they call them. You got any trouble with any of these doctor types, Saline?
Not that I know of, at least not that I've experienced here in the city since we came back.
Like
What about
over-
outside? Who wants you dead?
It's just an overprescribing doctor for essence of ether.
All right, well, why don't we round everybody up in the castle?
We didn't do that when my life was threatened. Although we did figure out who it was.
It was she was in your room.
Yeah, we caught that person in the act stabbing you.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't a sneaky poisoner that, like, here's the thing. They wanted to incapacitate you, which means they have to be close. Which means they have to be ready to come scoop you up. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah, but we could. Oh, did we know if it expires after a certain amount of time? I remember that from last session. Like, how long does the ether last once it's administered?
I
But
think it was 8
we,
hours, but I
huh?
don't. I thought it was 8 hours, but I could be wrong.
That's what I remember as well.
All right. We could leave it in outside your room or in your room even, Celine, as we go leave, and to see if someone's takes it while you're gone. We could tell someone we'll be gone. Hey, tell everyone we'll be back in a couple hours, right? And give them time so they feel comfortable. Maybe I could find. But the problem is I don't have it prepared, so it's something I'm gonna have to do tomorrow morning anyway.
Can we put out an announcement that Mistress Celine has taken ill and is not to be disturbed? And then see who tries to sneak in there?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's well. Yeah, I mean, we don't have to use saline as bait if you do that. The door's closed. They can see someone, well, whoever's walking in there. We run an all nighter, right? And just it's probably in the afternoon now or something.
Can you put some sort of a glyph or something on the book, maybe? So, like, once somebody moves it, then it causes an alarm or something like that, so we know?
Well, I rig my room with alarms every night to ensure that no one intrudes while I'm sleeping. Let me see if I can apply it to an object. Uh, Door, window, or an area, so not with that spell.
Well, will it be the area of the book, right? Like if it's a table, maybe.
Yes, that would work, I suppose. I could put an alarm around the table and uh, in an area around the table, and if anyone enters it, it will notify me. But the same would happen if they just opened the door or a window or something.
So you were alarming at night, I'm assuming, right?
Yes,
Okay, so
ever
yeah,
since that
so
whole
now
business with the doppelganger.
let's just sneak the book back in your room. Um, you already know Giant already, right? What I hear, you don't really need it anymore, right?
Well, technically, that hasn't happened until the end of the month,
Oh,
if you
okay.
want to get really mechanical about it, but I already have the go-ahead that I'm going to. It's on my character sheet, just inactive, you know?
He's only like 30% fluent and giant right now.
All the dirty words. I don't know. There was a lot we threw against the wall.
We could certainly try it tonight. Um, I should probably sleep in a different room, unless we're staking out.
Sleepover.
Yeah, we all just pony up in the next house, next room, sleep over. Yep, get your onesies out, and when the alarm goes, we pounce.
How bad do we want to sell this? Should we have you passed out in here and call the guards and have them bring you to your bed chambers?
Um,
It's all about the
well,
performance, you know?
Yeah, we gotta sell
Buying
it.
into it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
All right, guys. So sounds like there's some ideas being floated around here. I will just, throw out some thoughts for you guys to consider. Any kind of like who done it, you always want to be asking the, who, what, where, when, why kind of things. And then figure out if you don't have answers to those, how you could get them. So just to drop a couple of potential hints here. Obviously, this book was in Saileen's room, right? So if you believe that somebody has entered into Saileen's room, couldn't you go there and perhaps look for clues, right? That might be a good place to start to see if anything looks out of the ordinary. You
Scooby Gang.
also could, of course, yep, Scooby Gang. You also could, of course, ask around and see if anybody's noticed anything that is out of the ordinary or anything suspicious, right? So there's definitely options you guys have as far as how you want to pursue this. So far, the one I've heard floated is you're going to try to essentially pretend that this effect did happen to Saline and then see if anybody basically just shows up at her door, essentially.
I mean, yeah, I think if we go overt, then I might tip our hand to whoever. It's somebody inside the castle. Then someone will know that his plot's been foiled or her plot's been foiled. If we roll with it, I think we might have a better percentage of actually getting the person because someone's supposed to pick you up then, right? I mean, you're supposed to be passed out.
Obviously, how else would they? If the plan was just to kill me, they could have used a more lethal poison. So
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no other benefit to you being. You're not maintaining any magic guards or anything like that, right?
I mean,
I don't-
unless it was to knock out your concentration on alarm spells, or even if you have to do that, I don't even know. And then they come in and kill you at night. Like they tried to kill you at night, so they said, okay, let's ether poison her, and then she'll be asleep, and I'm able to put the alarms up, and then we'll walk in there and kill her. Or they're going to
But
kidnap you.
at the same time, why not just put a more powerful poison in there that would just kill her?
Yeah.
You know?
I say we go with the ruse.
Yeah, but I also don't think there's anything wrong with just checking the room, see if there was any hints of anything that could be found,
Yeah.
But I mean, while
Oh,
we're
yeah.
waiting,
No, she's going to fast out here right now in the chambers. We're going to say, oh my God, something's wrong with Celine. We're putting her to bed. Everyone, look, we're just gonna have her rest for a while, and when we all go in there, then we'll look at the room, and we'll pretend like we're putting her to bed, and then we'll lay in wait. That's kind of like what I'm thinking.
I think that's a great plan. I think at the same time, I might start trying to talk to people and find out who, if anybody saw anything.
Yeah, but I would pretty strongly want Celine to fake sick when we leave this room. I think that's where I'm leaning. I could be talked out of it, but that's kind of where I'm
but
thinking.
just remember we're in the counselor's room right now.
Right.
So if somebody had passed out, this is Bill talking, not Tavern, but if somebody had passed out, I don't think the first thing we would have done is because there was some smoke in the air. When she opened it the first time, I believe. I don't think the thing we would do is just put her to bed without going for a doctor or somebody.
Well, what if we didn't know, right? It's kind of a secret poison. I don't know. She was reading her book in the corner. All of a sudden, she just passed out.
Yeah, true.
She had a bad day. She didn't want to talk to us. You know how Celine is. And she was in the corner studying her giant. We were arguing about stupid plans that never work. And all of a sudden, we looked up and she's passed out in the corner.
Airtight.
Until they ask why you didn't take me to a doctor.
Because we don't have one in the castle, and she's tough. And I have +8 medicine check. Trust me, I can handle this.
Or
Basically a
maybe,
doctor.
yeah, maybe you stay with her at the very beginning and then you leave to do something.
Say all she needs is some rest.
Yeah. I'm from the Northern Reformed Church. I mean, who else are they going to call?
That's true. We basically would just be calling them. Or messaging.
Well, let's
Well,
do it.
how do you feel, Celine, as someone that would be performing and the bait?
I mean, I'm not sure I understand the question. All we would really need to do is carry me to the room. It would take like 3 minutes. There's not much performance to do, right? I could just pretend to be asleep or unconscious while Serena
Yes.
carries me, like fireman style, on her back or something. And
But
then
a potentially dangerous person could be entering your room looking for you.
But you're not just gonna leave me there. We have to do our investigation, right? So we'll all be in the room.
Yes, and I'll take the lead and say, hey, I'm basically a doctor here. I'm from the Northern Reformed Church. I'm going to take care of her to see what she needs. Just give us a minute, kind of thing. And but I do want to add, I think Serena should be carrying you like a baby in front, like in the arms, like that. That'd be better.
Well, the assassins aren't going to go in there if they think other people are in there.
Yeah, so we close the door and say, all she needs is some sleep, and then we got to sneak her out. Oh yeah, that's right.
You have an invisibility spell, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So make me invisible when we're in there, and then they'll see 5 people enter and 4 people leave, and they'll assume I'm in there by myself, and then
Okay.
we can
We
place the
can
book.
invisibly watch.
Well, I thought Gordon's plan was to track the book.
So
Like-
it was, yeah. It's either so the book can stay there in your room, and well, if we're gonna put you there, fake you there by invisibility out, I would think that we'd just lay in wait. We're doing a stakeout basically at that point.
The stakeout would be when we hear the alarm go off around the book, we can try to catch them before they leave.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Or your doorway, really, whatever, like anywhere in your room. We're going in, guns blazing.
Okay, but I'm throwing your body over my shoulder.
Oh,
All right.
All right, so it sounds like Operation Bait is underway. So, to make sure I'm understanding the visual here, Serena is going to essentially pick up Saline. You guys are going to exit the council chambers. Are you trying to do this discreetly, or are you making a scene?
No, I think we're making it known that she's passed out and that
Yeah.
we're taking her to her chambers.
Well, I worry about that because if there's a high alarm going off, they may be more cautious, and so it may spook them if everyone in the castle knows and is on high alert.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
not,
I guess we
not
could leak
Gordon.
the information, but I don't know about making a huge thing of it.
so like a low, medium, obvious, Adam. Like
Well,
she,
let me ask a more pointed question. So, Serena has Saline in her arms. You guys open the door. When you do, and you exit into the hallway here, you notice that there are guards posted. This is not unusual in this area. Anytime you guys are in session, there's usually guards posted there. I will say, however, that as you kind of turn, you notice that there is another guard posted across from a room. So think of it as like 3 rooms. Actually, you know what? Let me just give you guys a better visual here.
Uh-oh, he's putting us on a map.
You guys might recall this is the battle map version of the council chamber. So once you open the door, feel free to, exit how you wish.
Well, before we do that, We
All right, you
we don't need
smash
to
the
hit.
door open, Tavern, with the war.
So I don't think we make a big scene about it, but if we're passing by and people are obviously going to notice, we can like give them a quick
She
word, like,
fainted. She fainted. That's all
yeah,
we need to say.
try not to spread this around, but we're gonna take her to her room or whatever. And of course, when you tell people not to spread something around, the very first thing that happens is it spreads around. So
Yeah, I like that.
the rumor will reach the ear of the person it needs to, as long as anyone sees me.
All right, so I'm going
I
to
agree.
assume you had that little chatter right before you open the door. I'm going to open the door. Once you guys have opened the door, you're going to spot a couple of guards in the hallway, which again is not unusual, but feel free to start exiting. But essentially, as you look in this direction, you notice there is a guard posted here, which is unusual. So there are two other rooms in this hallway. There's one here and then one here. Normally, there's not like another guard here. And I would say that gives you the impression that, as just like these two guards are essentially protecting this room, this guard is probably protecting one of these rooms. So that gives you the impression that one of these two rooms is in use, which, not that that's super rare, but that is not something that happens very frequently.
Are the guards all dressed in the same uniforms?
Yes, they are. All right, so as you're kind of making your way through the doorway here, you notice the guards, they don't really react to you at any point. They're just kind of looking at you. Serena, as you're kind of in the doorway and you notice the guard here looking past Tavern sees you and sees that you have Saline in your arms, you notice he kind of pauses and he says, "Counselor, is everything okay?"
She fainted. We're just bringing her back to her room, but she fainted.
I'll take a look at her and make sure everything's okay. I appreciate you being so observant.
Do you wish for us to follow you to make sure that you get back to your room?
I think we could find it, right, guys?
Yes, no, you should perform your duties here as normal.
She's
He
very
gives
light.
you a quick salute.
Hey, by the way, I've never seen that guard over there. What's going on with that?
Oh,
Is
Lord Tannen is currently meeting in that other room there, so we have an additional guard posted.
Oh, well, who's he meeting with? Do you know?
I'm sorry, I actually don't know. I think it might be a relative.
Oh, okay.
Adam, could I roll to see if I recognize these guards as far as I've seen them around before? I would imagine there's not too many of the same guards.
Sure, yeah, go ahead and give me a blind check, Tavern.
This is going to go good, people. Ready?
Most of the faces are kind of like, you see people, but the faces don't necessarily totally click for you. However, I will say the guard right across from the room you do recognize. His name is Ben. You've actually spoken to him once before. He was a friend of Arthur's, and you guys have had a brief conversation with him when the whole fishy smell episode occurred up in the bedrooms.
Yeah, I don't remember that one there. All right, Ben. Great to see you again. Thank you for what you do.
Is Ben watching me?
He is. Yeah, he's watching all of you.
All right, I'm gonna fake try to open the door as I maybe work with the handle and see if he reacts.
He does not. He kind of so when you say fake, does this mean your hand goes toward the door, like you pretend like you're
Yeah.
opening it? He
Yes.
so if you're trying to look back at him while you do this, I will say you do notice him kind of like raise an eyebrow, but it's very subtle.
All right. Then I'll smile at him. Who's in there again?
Nobody is in that room, counselor. But in the next room, Lord Tannen is meeting, so please don't disturb him.
All right. So, Celine had fainted, and I'm just gonna take her to her room and make sure she's okay. There's no need to, get too crazy about this.
He nods. Oh, yes, of course, counselor.
I have a +8 on medicine, so no need to call a doctor, okay?
Come on, Serena. Hey, Adam, while I'm standing here, I'm going to just try to, like, wave Serena past. I'm going to try to see if I can listen into the door at all. Not on purpose. I mean, not visually, just kind of happen to see.
Trying to
I
do
know
this
that's not it.
stealthfully.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense what I said, but I'm glad that you understood nonsense.
I did indeed. Yes, you want to make sure this doesn't look obvious, but yeah, go ahead and throw me another blind check here, Tavern.
Yeah, I'm not putting my cup up to the door or anything like
Right,
that.
right. No, whether it's the sound of all your friends' footsteps in the hallway, or maybe there's not a whole lot, there's too much noise here to be able to hear much inside.
All right, cool.
All right, and it is you guys' intent to now make your way up to Saileen's room?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so I could make you guys move all the way through the castle. You guys probably remember it, but just to make it easier, I'm going to zip you guys over there a little bit faster, so just bear with me. Whoop, I thought I'd be clever and put you guys there, but one moment. All right, so this is where you're at. You guys have come up the stairs. If you move backwards, that's going back down the stairs, so just caution to that. And you guys know that Saline essentially is to your southeast from here.
Do a quick visual scan.
All right, so Saline, the question I'm going to ask is, I'm kind of visualizing that you have books in your room, right? Like probably a pile of them. Is there a particular spot? Like I was kind of visually maybe like on this desk here, but if you had a different idea, let me know.
Sure, that's fine.
All right.
Unless
and,
there are like bookcases in like the living room over here. I don't know what these are.
Yeah, those are totally bookcases.
Sure. Well, she's probably got quite a number of them. So the book she was studying would probably be on her desk, though. That's probably where she's been doing most of her reading through it.
Okay, fair enough. So Blixel, you say you do a quick visual look around, right?
Yes.
Throw me a blind check, please. You scan around this room looking for anything out of the ordinary that catches your eye, but nothing. Like, obviously, there's odds and ends. It obviously looks like a space that's been lived in, but you see nothing that draws concern.
Serena, can you open your magical awareness that you use? Is it like a detect magic thing? Can we see if there's any magic going around here in the area? Anyone?
Okay,
Yeah,
as you
that.
open your awareness, Serena, seeing if anything is magical, you would detect any of the things that are on your teammates that are magical. You would also notice a faint aura of magic coming from Salene's backpack.
Saline,
Oh,
what is in your backpack?
The book they tried to poison me with.
well, it's probably got other magic on it.
You detect this, Serena, as transmutation magic.
You have a balcony and a whole. Is this a fireplace? Wow, your house is nice. I say, and try to keep the tensions low.
What? Are you in the right room?
Yeah, there's a whole thing here. He's got a library or something. And then there's a whole porch.
Where's the porch?
Anyway,
It's on the other side of the room, the main room. She has a
Um,
living room over here.
okay, it's clear.
I-
I don't see anyone here. So,
I
can
don't
you?
know if my mic worked before, but I share with everyone that it was transmutation magic.
Yes. Oh,
Hmm.
Saline, open up your backpack. What if there's a tracking device in there, like I see in the movies?
Yeah, I'll produce the book again. Is it how long does she have to until her next turn? So as soon as she says that, I'll pull it out to see if it's the thing that's pinging for her.
Yeah, that probably takes a little bit longer, but I'd say putting 2 and 2 together, you're pretty confident.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, there's some kind of magical effect placed on the book. For sure.
Hmm. What would transmutation mean?
Usually it's a spell that turns one thing into another, or adds effects to something, changing the properties of whatever they cast it on.
What, do you want me to get rid of it? Because I can get rid of it right now.
Well, if you do that, whoever casts the spell on it might, if they're tracking it somehow,
Yeah.
they would know that happened.
Yeah, so this is actually going to work, guys. Okay, no, we got to find Tavard, we got to find a hiding place for us. I'm going to open this door and go in this hallway.
And of course, you're not seeing a whole lot of tokens on the map, right? But there are servants and things. Again, not a ton of them. But if you spend any time in these public areas, I will say you will notice occasionally a servant passing by, cleaning like a duster, wiping on the wall, using a cloth, that sort of thing, shining up door handles. So there's definitely staff around.
I'm going to open this door, Adam. Is it a hallway? Remember, this is Gordon's second night. No, he's been here a while, but I haven't messed with them. None of us messed with the map that much.
Heck, I don't even remember where my room is, though.
I found a good spot. Come on, Tavard.
Okay.
Close the door.
You keep going through the doors and hiding.
Feel
Right,
better, Celine. You get your rest.
all right. Okay. So just down the hall, there's an empty room, and I don't know if it's being used because there's no signs on on top of the doors, which I think is a great idea, but that never got done.
Yeah, that sentiment's been going around for several months now.
Okay.
So what's my role again?
ROLE or ROLL?
ROLE.
Okay. We're going to. I think the plan is we're going to turn Saline invisible whenever we want to. We're going to walk out and lay in wait, right, guys? And then leave the book here. And then Saline's going to do the alarm first. Then we go invisible. Then we leave and we stake out. And then as soon as the alarm pops out, we come out and we kill who was ever in this room.
Well, I like the last part.
We
Well,
got this.
we should probably warn the servants not to go in there, right? Because there's someone abed.
Yeah.
But it could be one of them, so.
Exactly. So if anyone disobeys the orders and goes in anyway, we have a good idea.
Excellent. We put a sign that says Saline is sleeping. Do not disturb. Order of the counselors. That'll work.
As you are coming up with this plan, you hear a knock on your door.
Okay, go to sleep, Saline.
I'll lie down on the bed.
This is fun.
This is stupid. This is gonna go horribly
As
wrong.
you open the door, Blixel, you notice Lord Tannen standing in front of you, and he says, "Oh, counselor, I heard from the guards that there was a bit of a situation in the council chambers. I just wanted to come up and make sure everything was okay."
Blabbermouths. They were not supposed to speak of it. It's Celine has fainted during our council little meeting. We were having a small one, and yes, she's resting in here. Gordon was going to look at her and maybe treat her, and then nothing to be concerned about.
I see. So you don't need any kind of assistance, or you don't need me to summon anyone?
I don't believe so. Who are you meeting with up there? We don't want to put you out. That's
Oh,
fine.
no, it's no problem at all. I was showing my nephew around the castle. He's been kind of seeing things around here recently, been very curious about how things in the castle
Ah,
work.
the adventurer wannabe.
Well, yes, wannabe, my counselor. That's very much true.
Well, Lord Tan, I appreciate you coming up. I've, as you know me from the NRC and with my medical skills, I'll think there's no alarm yet. I'm going to look at her more closely, and then she's probably just going to need a rest, sleep for quite a long time, maybe till tomorrow morning. So we might want to put a sign on the door to do not disturb, and then let her stay here and rest up. I think she'll be fine.
I see. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Should I have additional guards posted out here, or do you all plan to wait with her?
I don't think it's necessary. She's just sleeping like any other night, so normal watch should be fine.
He nods. Oh, okay. Well, please know, counselors, that I am at your disposal. I'm very sorry to hear this. Hopefully, this is just some kind of passing spell and will be over before we know it. And she'll be back up and fully healthy, of course. If you need me, however, though, please just ask around. I'm make sure the guards know of my whereabouts if you need to summon me.
I will do. And I'd like to incite Lord Tannen on the sincerity of his concern for the actual health of Celine.
Okay, sure. Blind check. You're fairly confident that it's sincere.
Mm-hmm.
You the best, buddy. Don't worry, Gordon keeps spouting his credentials, so I'm sure she'll be better soon.
You notice Lord Tannen smiles towards you, Serena. Ah, yes, Counselor General, I'm glad to hear that. Well, I will, of course, get out of your way here and allow you to tend to these matters, but please, once she wakes up, give her my best. I hope she does well.
Sure.
He gives you a very slight, like, head bob, and then makes his way up.
Just to be on the safe side, Blixel is going to cast Fairy Fire in this room.
Okay, I think that's a 20-foot cube, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So that could easily cover the full room. Go ahead and throw me a spell effect roll. And what color dust are you shooting out for your fairy fire here?
We'll do pink.
All right, pink dust kind of fills through the air and starts settling down as you watch very carefully to see if it settles on anything in particular, revealing it. But no, it just seems to cover the ground momentarily, and then with nothing targeted, it fades.
There's the lanai too out there.
The what?
The lanai or balcony porch.
Oh. What do you call it? What's that word?
Lanai.
I think
Oh,
lanai
man.
usually more is like a tent kind of feel to it, right? I always think cloth when I hear lanai, but yeah, I would just call this area a balcony.
Yeah, I'll say Blixel will look around out here to see if there's any sign of anyone entering from climbing up here or somehow getting up here.
Okay, yeah, let's see a blind check there, Blixel. What I will say, Blixel, is you notice kind of it sticks out a little bit to you once you look very, very carefully on this railing of the balcony. You notice that there is like a little bit of caked mud right on this railing, and as you look at it a little bit more closely, you get the distinct impression there's a bit of a boot imprint in this mud. Only partial, of course, because only a little bit of mud on it, but you definitely pick up what looks like a boot imprint.
Blixel will take a finger, run it through it, and put it in his gums. Oh. It's mud. It's not shit. I was worried it was shit, but no, it's mud.
Did
Like
you
the
find
80
a screw?
like
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Miami Vice, you take the powder and rub it in your teeth, and yeah.
Mm.
Is there a ceiling here, Adam, in this porch?
There is, yes. Or let's see. You guys are, yeah. We'll assume that there is.
Hey Blixel, can you track that mud? What if they're hiding? Is there rafters they could hide up into, or
Not inside this area. Somebody would have had to climb like up the railing and then to the roof to be on top of it. But inside this area, there's no rafters.
okay?
And Blix will look down to the ground and see if there's signs of tracks down there.
He can throw me another blind check, Blixel. You don't make anything out from this distance.
This is probably where they got up and into the room.
Why is this room so large? Mine is tiny.
I don't even know what mine looks like.
Well, we all picked our rooms. Do you keep this balcony door locked?
Would the balcony door have a lock?
Yeah, it
It
would.
must, right? Yeah. Yeah, she locks things up. What is this still the castle grounds, like out to the south here, or is
Yes, it is.
this like outside of all of our? So we're still within like the walls and stuff.
So the shutters that are on the south wall, if you look out of them, you're looking onto the castle grounds. You don't see shutters right in this particular area, or actually, I think Blixel, yeah, you're standing right in front of the shutter, so you can see south. That is, yeah, you would be looking down on the castle grounds from there.
Okay, so it's not like someone came in from outside the castle necessarily. They would have to be like within the walls of the greater property first, and then climb
Of the
up to the
greater
balcony.
property, yes.
Yeah. Right. Well, we know how they got in, at least.
Are there any other signs of boot mud tracks in here now that we know that they probably tracked mud?
Sounds to me like you want to do like a general searching of this wider area.
Sure. Anybody else really good at looking at stuff?
Well, I mean, I've been living here for a while. I would
Yeah.
probably be able to spot things out of place. Famously meticulous in my housekeeping and organization.
Well, yeah, it looked like he made it today. I'm not sure. It seemed like it was only one person, though. Might have tracked mud into here.
All right. Well, I'm going to pause for just one moment. Tavern, I'm going to move you back. You were here and you went north, which essentially means squeezing through shutters. And I will say you
sorry, I
are
thought that was
definitely no worries. You're definitely not small enough to do that. And as you look at these shutters, you realize you wonder, like, could someone go through these? And the answer is they'd have to be pretty small to do so. Definitely not a dwarf.
So I'm going to take a look at, since I was able to at least visualize. I thought it was a door. Sorry, Adam. But I'm going to look at the shutters to see if maybe a halfling-sized person went through that.
Okay, yeah, give me a blind check there, Tavern, as you're doing that check. And Blixel, if you're doing something similar in this area, I don't hear any other volunteers, you can throw a check as well.
This is investigation, right?
This is investigation, yes.
I think Celine said this is her room, so she'd be the best.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I heard the DM describe it as lived in, so I don't know how clean it is.
Well,
I
it's
wouldn't wanna
Celine.
rubble
She
through.
said meticulous, so I'm thinking pretty well. Okay, so based on, I'm going to take Tavern's roll first, and then I'm going to see if you guys want to keep Blixel's roll or not. But Tavern, as you investigate those shutters, it certainly is possible that a halfling could have fit through there. I will say that as you look carefully in that area, you do pick up what I'm going to call signs of like a handprint. So there's like a little bit of dust in this area, not a ton, but based on that roll, you notice that there's a mark that clearly looks like a finger. It gives you sort of the impression that somebody has kind of grabbed onto there and maybe pulled themselves through.
All right, and I will tell the group that.
All right, you relay that to the group. Blixel has already rolled. Are we keeping that roll, or is somebody else taking the lead on investigating?
I'm going to stop Blixel and say, hey, Celine's not really sick. She can look through her own stuff.
Okay. All right.
All right, we discard Blixel's 16 roll, and Celine, go ahead and throw me a blind check.
Sure.
Okay. So, Celine, you kind of do the rounds like one of these deals. You're moving around, looking to see if anything out of the ordinary catches your eye. You make your way back into your bedroom. Once you get to here, you notice on the ground here, next to your bed, and right in front of this shutter, you can't even believe that you spotted this, but oh my goodness, there is clearly a couple of very short blonde hairs on the ground.
They didn't use the lint rollers. Classic mistake. Yeah, I'll point this out to the party.
Hmm.
Good job.
What color is Tannen's hair?
Brown. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I got it. I figured it out. Blixel, one of your ex-girlfriends is so jealous of you hanging out with Celine so much, and she came in here to handle the side piece. You gotta find the blonde that likes you the best.
That'll take forever. No, none of them like me enough to murder my acquaintance, friend.
No, you keep telling yourself that, bud. These girls can do crazy things to get their man.
Let's consider other possibilities for now.
Okay, all right.
So, from what Tavard is saying, it seems like. Where did you see the signs of intrusion through the shutters? Where are you looking, Tavard?
Oh,
Yeah.
don't go out there. It's in the porch.
Yeah.
I'll open the door so you can
Okay.
get an idea.
So they climbed the balcony, got in through the shutters, applied the poison in the book on the desk, somehow got their hair over by the bed.
Have we met a halfling-sized blonde before?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, one or two my day.
Adam, can I do another roll? Because, it seems like one of those days to roll to see if I remember anybody that may be like a halfling-sized blonde person that works in the castle.
Sure, you can make a roll for that. Nobody immediately jumps to mind, Tavern.
Okie dokie.
So again,
All I
I
know
know
is
that
not my hair.
with your limited vision here, guys, and you're trying to piece this together, it can be a little bit challenging. So I'm going to just kind of recap what you've learned so far as a group. It seems as though maybe somebody has come through this shutter, right? So obviously this means they were already in the castle. They came through this shutter. You then found mud on this railing down here. So perhaps they've come through, climbed on this railing, climbed on the outside of the building to then go through this shutter. We all following? Any questions on that?
Because of the alarms. Someone who can detect magic.
Yes. Someone magic capable, since they placed some kind of enchantment on the book as well. So they knew about the alarms. They snuck around the outside, climbed down the balcony and back up through the shutter to get into the room. Poisoned the book. Ugh.
We're looking for a short, blonde magic user.
Yeah, I mean that's a lead for sure. I wonder if they were cautious of the alarms. Either they don't know that I only do it at night, or they snuck in here at night. And if they snuck in here at night, why didn't they just kill me while I was asleep? It's confusing.
Fair.
But
Maybe
we
only wanted to kidnap you.
well, yeah, but it's called an assassination attempt in the document file there, so.
Mm.
But yeah, maybe they just wanted to kidnap me. In any case, now would be a good time to try to float the question about the details of this person we know to passersby, onlookers who might have spotted someone fitting that description. And we could then follow this lead or get a name or something.
I say we line up everybody in this place that is small and blonde.
And then what?
Well, better safe than sorry.
Oh, you just start chopping heads?
You guys are the idea people. I'm the action person.
No bad ideas, Serena.
Why don't you pretend to be sick? Or do you want to be invisible and leave? Because I can go start talking to people.
Let's put. Well, if you want to do that, you can. Let's put the book on the table and place an alarm around it. Whoever did this, Derek's, if they've now heard that I am poisoned, they will come looking. I'm not sure it's a good idea for them to actually find me, but if they do find the room empty, they will certainly probably want to take the book back to dispose of the evidence. I'm not sure they know that we've been tampering with it yet, or we may one day discover what they did. So they'll want to retrieve the book if nothing else, and then we can enact Gordon's plan if the book disappears while we're out asking around. But I would like to be invisible when I leave this place, yes. It would be bad if they saw me, if anyone saw me leave, I'll say.
Okay, say no more. And
Before
you'll
that, no, wait, I have to cast the alarm spell first.
Okay.
So I will ask someone to wait at the door to make sure like no one knocks and comes in while I'm casting the spell. I'll put the book on this desk here, and then I'll rig an alarm around the desk to go off as a mental alarm to go off in my head if anyone disturbs the area other than the party.
Yeah, the one thing is though is we need to make sure because there's a couple of entrances and there's the windows here. Maybe I can like be outside or something like that in case I see someone like hiding. I can go out there stealthily and see if anyone starts trying to climb up your window or something.
Hey, what time of day is it, Adam? Am I losing track a little bit?
Probably like early-ish afternoon, 2 p.m., somewhere like that.
Okay. Yeah, Blixo, I don't mind if you want to go look around. Maybe Serena and I could hang out in the room, over there on the other side of the hallway.
All right.
And then
Sounds good.
Tavard can take the ground level, and you could take Serena with you, so she's always safe.
Yeah, maybe someone
look for
like there might be prints out on the outside where they got up onto the balcony. Or tracks, I mean, not prints. But anyways, I'll go talk to some of the work staff and stuff.
After you make me invisible, of course.
Yep. Let me play this sick lick on the lute. And he shreds the lute.
So it takes me 10 minutes to do this, by the way.
Oh, okay. Once you're done.
Yeah. And because we've spread the word that the poison has knocked me out, the poison lasts 8 hours, alarm lasts 8 hours, so if they come to retrieve the book in the time which they should do, because they think I'm unconscious right now and I'll only be unconscious for 8 hours, then they'll certainly trigger the alarm if they collect the book.
Blixel will open the door and go, all right, Celine, you get yourself lots of sleep.
Yep. All right. Come on, guys. Let's let her sleep. There's a room over here.
She looked really bad. She was
So
Just in
knocked
before-
out.
case it becomes important, Blixel, can you burn that fairy fire and that invisibility slot for me?
Well, they're using the fairy fire is the racial thing, and then invisibility is from the loot.
Oh, okay, gotcha. You're good then.
Actually, Celine needs to stay with us, not with you, Blixel, because when her alarm goes off, she needs to tell us.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just gonna talk to people.
So here's the room over here, guys, in this hallway.
Do you guys think I should be outside? Adam, what does the outside look like as far as like terrain goes? Is there trees, bushes, those type of things where I may be able to hide, or is it open field?
There's bushes.
over
They're
here.
really well manicured bushes. They kind of ride up right alongside the building. If you go more into like the public spots, there's more bushes, but you'd probably be detected before you could get to one of them. Not much in the way of trees. Those would be further away outside the greater property lines.
All right, so no real place for me to be able to stay observant without being observed myself.
I mean, you could certainly use the bushes right up against the building, but it would limit your ability to. You would basically only be able to see in one direction, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. It doesn't sound like that's gonna work too well. So, okay.
All right. So once again, as you guys are making your way through, you do notice that there are staff. So for example, you might see like a cleaning person down this way. They kind of observe you guys moving through this area, but they don't say anything. They're kind of wiping down this banister at the moment.
Blixel will approach any.
I'm not quite sure with that.
All right. Blixel will approach anybody. First, he makes sure they're not a short blonde.
They are not.
And he's like, "Hello. Just letting you know, my councilwoman Celine is not feeling well, and she is not to be disturbed. Okay."
Oh, yes, of course. Is it okay if I finish cleaning this banister, or should I come back later?
No, yeah, you clean the banister. Just don't go into her room. Okay, it's we're not sure exactly what's afflicting her, so we don't want to risk anyone else getting sick.
Okay, I understand. Yes, okay. And you see she continues like just wiping with a cloth under the banister and going up and down on like each of the slats.
All right, Blixel will down and try to sort of see if there is anybody that stands out to fit the description that we think, and at the same time, try to ask people if they've seen anyone that looks like that.
Okay, so I'm going to say, Blixel, you're making your way through the castle. Mostly you're running into servants and guards. So as you're, I'm assuming both of those populations you're wanting to ask?
Yeah.
Okay, so overall, it seems like the servants don't really know much. You don't see any of them. They're kind of overall. You get the impression they're a little bit like nervous. They probably know who you are, and they're just like kind of really obsequious, and they try to just end the conversation as quickly as they can, being as polite as they can. As you're asking the guards, there's more of a. I will say they have a bit more of a backbone. They don't like shy away from you. They try to answer your questions the best they can. It takes you about 10 minutes or so talking to these various folks before you talk to one of the guards. And as you say this, he's like, "Oh no, I don't know what you're talking about." And then he stops and he says, you said like somebody that's short and blonde?
Yeah. or slight and blonde, you know?
Okay, yeah. I was talking to Ben. Let's see, what was this? Earlier this morning. Yeah, Ben said that he thought he saw somebody, and then he started asking around if anybody else saw somebody like that, but nobody had. So you might want to talk to Ben. Maybe that's your best bet.
Oh, all right. Well, Ben might have been onto something. You should listen to him more.
Well, counselor, he simply asked me if I had seen a young woman with blonde hair, and I hadn't. So I said no, and he seemed a little bit flustered and kind of went on his way. It was a pretty short conversation.
Well, I appreciate the information, sir. Keep up the good work protecting the people here. If you do happen to see someone that fits that description, please come find me and let me know.
He gives you a salute. Yes, sir.
And Blixel will try to seek out Ben.
All right. Is there anything pertinent that anybody else is doing during this time?
Adam,
Trying
I
to
would-
position myself in this room such that I can't be seen from the shutters.
Okay, even though you're invisible, double careful. Got it.
Well, it wears off after an hour, right? And we might be posted up here for 8. So
Gotcha. Okay, prepared. Okay. Tavern, you had something as well?
Yeah, I was gonna wait until because I'm right. You know, you said some of the guards and maybe some other folks are around. I'm trying to get into this room, for an example, with my comrades there, but I don't want to make it look obvious. So I'm kind of waiting until it looks like, I have a good opportunity to sneak in.
Yeah, throw me a blind check. We'll see how successful you are at that. Okay, yeah, so you're kind of trying to time this. Again, it's not a ton of people up here, so you wait like a few minutes and then you notice that cleaning lady that was doing the banister, she's done. She makes her way back downstairs. You're like, oh, this is the perfect time. And as you start heading that way, you notice a guard comes from the southeast door and you just kind of like nod and, walk on like you weren't planning to do that. He just kind of does a big circle, makes his way back out. Doesn't seem to pay you too much attention. Obviously, he knows you're supposed to be there. Once he leaves, coast is clear, and you're able to slip in seemingly undetected. Okay, Serena or Gordon, anything in particular that you're doing?
Serena non-pertinently is like, see, now this is the size of my room.
Gordon, is there anything in particular you're doing?
No.
All right, fair enough. So I'm going to slide back over to Blixel. Blixel, you make your way back down. I'm going to kind of just teleport you on over there. You make your way back over to where you had previously spotted Ben. And yeah, he's still in that same spot. So as he sees you approaching, you notice he will turn over to you once again. And he'll just give you a nod as he sees you approaching. And he says, Counselor.
Ah, hello, Ben. Good to see you again. Quick question. I hear you may have encountered someone that we're trying to find. A woman with blonde hair.
A woman with blonde hair. Doesn't really ring a bell, Counselor.
A slight woman.
How recent was this?
I don't know. One of the other guards said you were talking about it, asking if they had seen her.
Give me a blind check, Blixel. You notice he looks a bit nervous. And then you see he looks at you, scratches the back of his neck. Blonde woman recently, and the guard said, I'm sorry, I'm kind of drawing a blank. I'm not sure what you mean.
Interesting. Can you accompany me, Ben?
Sure, yes. Where would you like me to go, Counselor?
We're gonna go talk to that guard.
You see as you kind of like start stepping away, he says, I am supposed to stay here and guard Lord Tannen, Counselor, and he's still in that room. Are you sure it's okay that I leave my post?
Excuse me, you two. Can you come over here and cover Ben's position here for a brief moment? It won't take about 10 minutes.
All right, you'll notice the guard says, "Yes, of course, counselor." And then you notice Ben kind of looks at that other guard, and then he looks back at you and he says, yes, okay."
All right.
So you're essentially trying to make your way back to that first guard?
Yes. I will also do a divine sense,
Okay.
just in case, you know.
Sure, yeah. You open your senses up, go ahead and burn a charge of that, but no, you do not detect anything unusual in the vicinity. But go ahead and throw me a blind check as well as you're making your way back towards the other guard.
And I'll spend an inspiration on this if I am not
You do not
successful.
need to because you have quite a bonus to this skill. So as you're making your way up the stairs, you'll notice Ben will kind of stop you and he'll say, "All right, listen, counselor, I'm sorry, but I know what you're talking about, but you see, I thought maybe I saw something, and then I kind of followed up, and I didn't see anything there. And then I asked other people if they saw anything, and they all said they didn't see anything. And so I just assumed there was no danger, right? And so I knew this was going to come back to haunt me. But I know what you're talking about."
No, there may indeed be great danger. What 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 did you see? Where was she?
So I was on the third floor. I was just kind of doing the typical rounds. And then off to the north, I saw this really slight figure with blonde hair, like short blonde hair. It looked like a woman to me. And I spotted her and I thought, well, that's out of the ordinary. Why was she here? Maybe she was somebody's relative or, maybe someone's friend and they allowed her to be here, but I didn't recognize her. So I took me a moment and she kept moving, of course. And then I thought I better follow up on that just to be extra sure. So I went that way. I didn't see her. I went up the stairs up to the fourth floor and then I made my way down and I didn't see her anywhere. So I don't know who she was. Maybe she was related to somebody and she went in one of the private rooms and I don't go in those private rooms without, clearance and so forth. So I didn't find her again. I'm very sorry, but I didn't think it was a real issue.
Oh, well, the realm has many enemies.
But counselor, this was like
You
a
messed
really
up big time
small
here, Ben.
person. They were so small. They didn't look like they had weapons or anything like that. I mean, it's just I didn't think there was any way they'd be dangerous.
How could you tell if they had weapons or not?
Well, I did see them from kind of far away, but they were dressed not in like, scoundrel clothes or anything like that. They were just dressed pretty well to do, I would say, maybe like a upper class merchant or maybe even like a noble or a minor noble, something like that. They certainly seem to fit the place. I mean, sometimes we have visiting folks in the castle. It's not that unusual.
Show me where you saw her, Ben.
Oh, okay.
Let's
Yes.
do this. Let's
I'll
do
take
this
you.
quick.
Okay, yes. Let me lead you there. So he will take you up these stairs. I'm just going to kind of zoom you on over there. And then once he takes you up the stairs, so he will say, so she was like here when I first spotted her, right? But I was down this way, counselor. So I was kind of coming from this direction here. So like I came from here down the hallway, and then I happened to spot her to the north. So I saw her that way, and it, like I say, I didn't immediately think, oh, this is dangerous. I just thought, well, this is odd. And then it just took a couple of moments before I thought, yeah, I better follow up. So then I came back up this way, and by the time I got up here, she wasn't here anymore. I didn't see which way. I was pretty sure she went west from here. So I kind of went over here, checked the stair, and then I went up these stairs to the fourth floor. And like I say, I didn't see her up there. Do you want me to show you on the fourth floor where I looked also?
Hold it for a moment. Folks will go over to this and see if there's any markings of someone climbing through this shutter.
Okay, blind check as you search that area out. None that are obvious, no.
All right. Show me.
So he makes his way up the stairs. You can feel free to move. All right, so as you kind of make your way up the stairs, passing by this banister where you just recently saw the cleaning lady, he will come over in this direction and he will say, so I came up the stairs here, and then most of these are private rooms. Of course, your residence is down the other way, but I just came down here, and then I went through this door, and I didn't see her. I kind of went this way, but I didn't see her. So like I said, I assumed that she must be related to somebody or friends with somebody or visiting. I mean, I just don't know.
And do I know who's in these two rooms here?
I would say that in a general sense, yes, but not like you're on a first name basis or anything like that. So usually most of these rooms are for like, higher up staff, like people of importance. And then perhaps sometimes visiting folks for the rooms on the west side of the room. Those are like smaller rooms that occasionally can be used for that purpose. A lot of times those western rooms are just empty though. And that there, of course, is your residence.
Yes. All right. Wixel thanks Ben and says, just keep your eyes peeled. I'm afraid that person shouldn't be here. They're probably up to no good. So keep your eyes peeled for them, and if you think of anything else, let me know.
Should I put the guards on alert to look for somebody that matches that description? I did already ask a couple of them, and no one said they spotted anything.
No, I mean, I don't want to spook them because they could still be around here, and I think that's our best chance of maybe getting a hold of them. So,
Okay, I'll keep my eyes open. I won't say anything, but if I notice anything, I'll make sure to let you know, Counselor. And again, my apologies. I understand why you say that this is a real big issue, but you got to understand there's so many people, that kind of move through here. I mean, if I stopped every single person I didn't know, I mean, it would just be a really uncomfortable place and nothing would get done.
I get it, but you messed up pretty big here, all right? You gotta make sure that even if it's uncomfortable, that the right people that have access to the right areas are here, okay?
He kind of hangs his head a bit and he says, yes, of course, Counselor.
All right. You can make it up to me by catching this person, okay?
I'll do what I can. I haven't seen them since, but yes, I'll make the rounds. I'll see if I see anything.
Yeah, if you think of anything, or you think you saw him somewhere or touched something, investigate it, let me know, okay?
Will do, Counselor.
All right.
So as we're sitting in this room, I'm looking around. Does this room look occupied, Adam? Where we're hiding out?
There's four of
No,
us.
it does not.
Okay.
Well, besides yourselves, of course.
Right.
Hey,
Ah, oh God.
shut the door. All right. So here's the skinny. Ben saw a short, blondish, he thinks a woman. That's all I got.
Okay. What,
Wait, there's more. I think there's more.
what was she doing?
She was walking on the floor below.
Okay. Was
Maybe
she wearing anything?
escaping after planting the book. I'm not sure.
Maybe. Was she wearing anything distinctive? Was she
No, he said
dressed
she was
particularly?
dressed like not not like a scoundrel,
She
like a noble woman maybe.
Ooh. Well, if there's one person in this castle who knows nobles, Lord Tannen interacts with them frequently. Maybe he knows of a family or something that shares those physical descriptions. He may not know the person exactly, but if she's small enough to fit through the shutters, I imagine most people in this kingdom are human, or at least human adjacent. So I feel like a halfling would stand out in memories if they were particularly rich or well-to-do.
Oh, good point. Who wants to go talk to Tannen?
I think you've done a great job.
I know, but it's fun to do, some little investigations here and there. I don't want to hog all the fun. I feel like a real life guard.
And you're doing well. Oh, you got such valuable information. A blonde girl.
A
Well,
blonde
I'm staying
halfling girl
here
dressed as a noble.
in case that alarm goes off. I want to be ready to swing my axe.
Yeah, but the thing is, if the alarm gets going right off the shutter, we're gonna lose him anyway, unless we get someone on the ground.
The
That's what I-
alarm is silent though. It's in my head. So
Right. So I'm a bad guy. I go in to abduct you. I don't see you. I see the book, and then so I'm gonna go grab the book and just jump out the shutter.
yes. And I believe if she has ways to detect magic, I suppose she would see the alarm. So maybe this plan wasn't as foolproof as I thought. We
But
didn't
then
think
you
this through.
locate object if you really need to
Yeah.
find it.
That's tomorrow in the morning.
Well, she just wouldn't take the book. She wouldn't risk triggering the alarm.
Well, I mean, I'm happy to go talk to him about it. You guys stay here ready to swing.
Yeah. I mean, stick with it, right?
All right. Fair enough. I'll keep my eyes peeled.
I'm happy to
Look for
zip you.
a blonde.
I'm happy to zip you on. And you're just heading down to where you know Lord Tannen is meeting with his nephew.
Yeah. So basically, we can even just, we don't need to RP it out if need be, but he's going to ask him if he knows of any noble people that fit that description.
Well, as this may be your first time meeting the very eager nephew that wants to become an adventurer, we'll RP out just a little bit. But yeah, you find yourself in this area, and you know the door there, and you see the guard across from where you asked him to wait. You see he kind of looks at you and notices that you're approaching, and kind of looks towards you, and he says, is Ben still on his way back?
Yeah, he might have got hung up a little bit. I sort of took him to task for not doing the best job. So be careful of that. I'm really strict around here, all right?
Yes, counselor, that is no problem. I shall remain here in my spot exactly as you've asked me to fulfill my duty exactly as asked.
Excellent. I'm going to go visit the meeting here, though, for a second, all right?
Oh, yes, but let me just knock on the... And you see open
Oh,
the door.
no, that's all right. We're old friends.
As you step in, you hear the guard's voice just kind of like fade away. You notice Lord Tannen notices you enter, and he says, Counselor Blixel. And you notice the young man sitting across from him kind of looks up to you, and you see this like little twinkle in his eye as he does so. Lord Tannen says, please meet my nephew here. This is and you hear his nephew go, and Lord Tannen stops and says, yes, please meet my nephew. This here is Blade.
Blade. Nice to meet you. I am the Copper Counselor, Lord Blixel.
You notice he gives you a slight grin. Lord Blixel, I did not understand that you were a lord of anything. I didn't think any of the counselors were uncle. And you see he looks back towards Lord Tannen. Lord Counselor Blixel, what can we do for you?
Well, I was hoping to ask you, um, your son, he's so blonde. Does he get that from his mother?
Well, this is my nephew, Counselor.
Oh,
But
your
yes.
nephew. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. I know you've just met the young lad, and you see he kind of like looks back between the two of you. You can get the impression he's kind of annoyed that you're like talking about him but not talking to him. And Lord Tannen says, "Yes, my sister does have lighter hair than me, and her husband also has blonde hair. So no quite surprised that Blade here has blonde hair."
And is he normal sized person or is he a
He's
small person?
he's a teenager, so he's fairly slight.
Um, well, can I speak to you out in the hall, Lord Tannen?
Of course, counselor. Blade, just wait here a moment. I'll be just a moment. And you see he goes,
It's very nice meeting you, Blade. I've heard a lot of good things about you.
and as you're walking out, you hear under his breath, "Yeah, I wish I had heard good things too."
A little shit.
All right, I'm sorry, Lord Tannen. I'm sorry to bring you out here, but this is sensitive material that I don't know if I trust in the hands of a teenager.
Of course. Well, if it's private, shall we adjourn to the council chamber just momentarily?
Yes, that sounds appropriate.
Yes. What is it, counselor? What concerns you?
Well, we're looking for information about any sort of noble family that has smaller blonde-headed members.
You notice he raises
Uh,
an eyebrow as you say this. Obviously, having just mentioned the blondness of his nephew, you realize that's obviously very much on his mind. Looking for them for what purpose, counselor?
Well, we have reason to believe they've been skulking around the castle.
Well, counselor, you can just lay your cards on the table. Of course. Are you concerned that my nephew has been doing that?
Yes, I mean, I guess I am a little bit, as he is new and seems to have some um, teenage attitude.
Yes, that is very much true, counselor. To be completely honest, he has had somewhat free reign of the castle as my duties here keep me busy. So I've done when I get breaks between meetings and things. That's when I've been sort of showing him around different places. Is there something missing or something broken? If I could just replace whatever it is to end this matter.
Well, is he like an acrobatic type of um, fellow? Is he like scaling walls and stuff like that?
Give me a blind check, Blixel. Okay, Lord Tannen says, well, I mean, he's a young lad. He's, young lads climb trees and things. I don't know if he's any better than anybody else at his age, but sure.
Well, um, I believe something may have been placed in Lady Celine's, oh, I'm sorry, Councilwoman Celine's room. And all descriptions pointed to a shortish blonde figure that could fit through the shutters.
That is concerning, counselor. What if we return to the room and we can just allow me to just ask him some questions? You can kind of listen in, and hopefully we can, get to the bottom of this.
All right. Do you know him to be of character to to cause such harm?
Harm. You said he maybe have left a book or left something somewhere. I'm trying to read between the lines, but I mean
He left a dangerous trap or gag, or I'm not saying he did it, honestly. I'm actually saying that someone did. Um,
I have no reason to believe he would do anything like that. A prank or a trick or something, perhaps, but dangerous. Not knowingly.
Very well. Well, why don't we go talk to him about it. Maybe it's
Yes.
him. Maybe it's not.
Yes, counselor, let's do that.
What's up, Blade?
You notice he's just kind of like picking at his pants as you enter. You see Tannen enters, closes the door, and retakes his seat here. And you see he'll look over towards Blade and starts kind of like, asking him questions, just roundabout, not very specific, but you can understand like what he's hinting at, Blixel. Go ahead and give me a blind check as you're observing this conversation between the two of them. You will notice as the two of them are speaking, Blade kind of winces every now and again, and you realize it's as he's kind of shifting in his chair, he's kind of fidgety, and it's like every time he seems to put too much weight on his left leg, you see he kind of winces a bit.
All right. Blixel will sort of stroll over to him and then like step on his left foot.
All right, so you'd have to go around the table to do that, but yeah, if you wish to do that, you could.
He goes, "What happened to your foot?"
So you're just to clarify, your intention is to like stomp down on his foot?
Not like super hard, but just enough that if it's injured to make him uncomfortable and react.
So you're doing the old tippy
Or if
tap.
his leg is, yeah.
All right, so yeah, you managed to do that, and yeah, you will notice this time more of an exaggerated wince, and you see he looks up and he says, what are you doing?
What happened?
I hurt my leg.
Doing what?
And you see he looks back towards Tannen, and he looks back at you. I don't remember. I was, I remember I heard it, like, recently, but it'll be fine.
Well, I'm a pretty good healer. Let me just take a look at it real quick, and I can patch you right up.
And you see he looks at Lord Tannen once again, and you see Lord Tannen gives him a nod. Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
And Blixel will see what kind of injury it is.
Give me a blind medicine check. You get the pretty distinct impression that he like rolled his ankle. This is the kind of injury that you would associate with like maybe falling on it.
Do you have yourself a fall or something?
Yeah, that could have been it.
Where was that?
And you see he kind of looks at you once again. I don't remember. I was out doing stuff.
Blix will look over at Tannen and say, well...
Yes, of course, Blade. The reason that the counselor is asking you these questions is that it's important that we try to get to the bottom of some issues that have occurred around, and we just want to make sure what you know and help us with this whole situation. And so you see, he kind of goes on. You kind of doing almost like a little bit of good cop, bad cop here. Go ahead and give me another blind check, Blixel. That's a big old fail. But nothing more seems to come.
If it's a fail, I'll spend an inspiration.
Okay, I was gonna say it's a big old fail. So yeah, you can roll inspiration. Go ahead and burn that inspiration, and then click your blind check again. All right. So you will notice that he is wearing this pretty good type style of clothing. Maybe could be associated with like more of the upper class of folks, obviously being the nephew in this noble family. That doesn't surprise you much. But what really does catch your eye is he's wearing a cape. It's a pretty like fancy kind of cape. Most capes have like a clasp right by the throat area. Oftentimes nobles, they do something fancy like silver or gold. They'll have like a sigil or something like that. But you'll notice on his cape, there's like, you get the impression almost like the cape is torn a little bit, and he's got like just a little bit of string that ties the two sides together.
Well, I'm sorry to have disturbed your meeting. Are you staying long, Blade?
Maybe. Yeah, I got to see, but maybe. So far it's not been all that interesting. I have to say, it's just all books.
Well, we'll hang out here for a while. Maybe we can talk about some interesting opportunities we might have for you in the future. Okay?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wanted to go out on an adventure, but my uncle said that nobody was wanting to take me. So,
Well, we live a very dangerous and exciting life. So, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay? Just hang tight.
okay.
All right. Thanks, Lord Tannen. I appreciate it. If you think of anyone that can fit my description, let me know. Okay?
He nods. Yes, of course, counselor. All right, as you're making your way out, I want one last blind check, Blixel. That is also a failure. Okay, feel free. Where would you like to go next? Heading back to your teammates, I'm guessing?
Yes.
All right, so folks, you guys have been in this room for a period of time now. Blixel's been away. Anything particular you're doing during this time or talking about?
Just eating the pistachios and flicking the casings out our window and stake out.
Okay, Blixel, you make your way back up to the 4th floor outside of your conspirators room.
Ah,
We're the good guys in this situation.
Hey, I think it's Lord Tannen's nephew.
why?
He fits the description. He hurt
Where?
himself. It looks like when he was climbing.
So we
He's
gotta
a
look for
little shithead teenager.
that. We gotta look for the clasp on his cloak somewhere.
Well, we need to look for a clasp or like pieces of thread or some sign of his presence. But I'm almost positive it's him, and he's in. I told him to hang tight in that room, so we got a little bit of time. But I don't know why he did it or whatever reason. But he meets the description that we have.
Maybe he's
So
trying to knock out his uncle.
Well,
Anything else interesting about him?
his name is Blade, if you want to call that interesting.
sounds more like a title he gave himself than an actual name. But in any case, Lord Tannen said that he was like looking into. Lord Tannen's concern was that his nephew was potentially getting in with the wrong crowd. That's why he wanted us to take him with us, in case he ended up in a group that didn't care about his safety and had more nefarious deeds in mind. So perhaps he was put up to plant the poison by someone outside the castle. If so, we really need to make him talk, so to speak,
Hmm.
about who he's
Well,
been
we have
infecting.
that person.
I was gonna say, didn't we hire somebody to do that?
Well, before we employ a torturer on a teenager,
She's
maybe
not
we.
a torturer, though. We've gone through this so many times.
And I
She
could
just
cast
she just talks to them or something.
I could
So
cast Zone of Truth as well, so tomorrow, but we can prepare that talk. But let's look for that clasp as evidence. Could be under your bed, maybe by a pillow, it could be on the ground where he fell out the window.
Yeah, let's do that.
Oh, he fell out the window or something? He fell?
Yeah, he probably fell out the window, sprained his ankle,
yeah,
and that's what tore his cloak, and he's missing the clasp.
There should be, if so, there should be a noticeable like impact site, like
Yeah, okay, I'll go.
for sure.
let's
Okay, I
look
go.
for it.
I'm
I'll
going with
go
you.
trace his steps too.
Stop shutting the damn doors.
All right, Adam, I'm gonna look. Or Celine's here. Come here, Celine. I don't want to rubbage through your bed. It's weird.
Yeah, I'll search in and around the bed, see it, because he came in through. We're saying he came in through this window here, so I'll look for like stuff on the floor, under the bed, near the bed, and
I can go outside and take a look.
just like in the area that it would require him to be to get to the book.
Okay, blind check, Saline. And Tavern, you want to make your way downstairs outside?
Yeah, if you can just move me, probably, right?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of map out there, but I can just put you down there and assume you've made your way all the way down to the ground and looping around. Saline, no, other than those small hairs you already found, you find nothing else out of the ordinary. Tavern, you're down here searching for like an impact site. I think that's what I heard.
Yeah, I'm looking for anything that would cause me, well, footprints, or I'm looking for. You said there's a lot of bushes that seem to be well manicured, right? So I'm trying to see if
Yes.
maybe some of them weren't as well, right? A lot of
If it was
branches or whatever
damaged in the
here.
fall.
Sure.
And I'm looking in the dirt and in the bushes and everything to see if maybe I can find a clasp of any kind.
Okay, blind check, Tavern.
And I will use a hero point on this if that helps.
All right. You need to use a hero point. Okay, with that roll on your hero point, yes, you do indeed find that right here in this set of bushes, like between these two squares essentially, you notice that there is a lot of broken branches from this bush collection here. It seems very much in line with someone falling down below, smacking into this area. And as you look around for a couple of extra minutes, you sure do indeed find a cloak clasp. As you pull that up, you notice that it is in the shape of a winter aconite, which you probably don't know what that is, but it's a type of flower.
Yeah, I knew that. I'm one of those flour guys. Flour, great for making bread.
You find anything down there? I'm leaning off the balcony, like trying to look where he would have jumped.
Yeah, so you can certainly see down, kind of leaning over. You can certainly see Tavern down there, Serena. I don't know if he shouts Eureka or anything like
Nope.
that, but
I don't. But I am going to go ahead and wave to him and kind of a thumbs up, like, hey, I found something, but I'm not going to shout it. But I will go back up into the room.
all right, you make your way all the way back around, climbing up the stairs, blah, 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 and get back inside.
I think Tavern found something.
What did you find, Tavern?
I found a flower symbol here. Look. Now, I'm kind of wondering, I mean, I don't know, and Adam, I may or may not know if having these kind of symbols or whatever does maybe have a meaning to them, so to speak. I mean, I may not know what this meaning is, of course, but I am interested to just kind of hand it over to our, our intel person and see if she can determine if this here is symbolic for any reasons or if it's a family crest or anything like that.
So without a check, I can tell you that noble families oftentimes adopt a sigil, and then those that are well off enough will often use that sigil in various articles of clothing or jewelry, that kind of stuff. But yeah, you hand that over to Saline. Saline, you see this cloak clasp. It looks like it is fairly expensive. It's made of gold. You can see that the flower it's trying to depict, I'm pretty sure your nature check is up there. So yeah, it looks like it's trying to depict a winter aconite. Go ahead and give me a blind check to see if you can depict anything else.
Sure. We've also seen Tannen dozens of times. Does he have similar iconography on his stuff?
He sure does. Based on that check, yes, I would say you know the winter aconite to be the sigil of House Bosch.
All right, we've got our proof. Let's go confront him before he runs away and gets.
Wait a minute. Hold up. I don't trust Lord Tannen. I read that first 5 minutes I talked to him. He brings his nephew in here, right? And he says, oh, he might fall into the wrong hands, right? And now we have all this intel to kind of put it together, right? So we have an implant from the outside, probably fake teenage incompetent boy who might be competent. Well, he did sprain his ankle. He comes in here and maybe Lord Tannen is trying to get rid of us. Or it's just a random assassinate roll because I tried to find a magic item and it's an actual side quest that we solved.
Or
I
maybe
think
yeah.
I don't really get the same impression of Lord Tannen as you do. But either way, I mean, there's 5 of us and 1 of him, and he's not a fighter. So if it comes to it, we can confront him.
Right, but he's got friends, and where are they? That's all I'm thinking. It's a bigger fish out there.
We're not gonna know unless we get it out of him.
Well, no, yeah. Let's close this quest line and get back to the main quest.
Well, what I would say is, remember, he has been kind of worried. He's brought up a lot of money questions lately, right? So maybe he's being bought out. Maybe someone offered him some cash to do something. I mean, I trusted him, but that doesn't mean he's always trustworthy, right? So, I mean, heck, maybe we should have somebody go invisible and try to see if we can eavesdrop on him, right? Maybe somebody opens up that door, somebody goes in there invisible, that type of thing, and stays in the room for an hour.
I mean, well, the problem is that Blixel's been asking questions, which I mean, I don't want to call it a problem because we put it up to him, but Lord Tannen's a smart guy. He knows why you're asking questions. If he's in on it, he's put 2 and 2 together, and they're making plans or have already bounced. So
That's a good point.
I think we need to go talk to them
Yeah.
before they get out of the castle.
Is he willing to lose his job for this? Well, we'll find out because he's gonna scream like a little wah. Serena's going. Let's march.
No torture yet, unless it becomes necessary.
I'll try to grab her. She's definitely going down there.
She
All right,
wants
you
to go
guys
ahead.
are all making your way
on the
back down to
runway?
that same spot. Yeah, I'll zoom you all down there if you're letting me know you're all going there.
Serena's out the door.
Blixar, are
He's
you
so excited.
Class somebody.
Glaive in hand. Ready
Blixar,
to
are
go.
you joining the group or are you remaining behind?
Blixen was listening for someone to go through the door, so to Celine's room. So
He definitely hears that and a bunch of footsteps.
okay, so he'll follow the footsteps then, I guess.
He notices all of the other counselors getting ready to charge down the stairs.
All right, yep, he's going with him.
You can
All
get
right.
out of the way. Serena.
Let me just put you guys all together and I'll zoom you on over there. All right, as you guys make your way down the stairs and start approaching, I will say you notice that there is a little bit of like a little bit of a commotion in this area. You see a few of the different guards talking, and then they kind of like one pats the other one on the back, and you notice one of the guards kind of like starts making his way down the stairs. And from there, let's go ahead and pause and take our 15-minute break, folks.
See ya.
See everybody in 15. Alrighty, we are back on the second half of our session, folks. Let's go ahead and get you guys back over to the castle. All right, so as a reminder, as you guys are making your way down the stairs and getting over to this spot, you notice that there was a bit of commotion with the guards, and then you notice that one of them had gone down the stairs. So you guys are currently in this sort of main area of the second floor. You can feel free to move.
Hey, Serena, what's going on?
I approach this guy and I say, "What's happening here?"
General, there was just a request to send a note to family in the town, and so we just sent one of our posted guardsmen to take care of that.
Stop him.
What family? What? Yes, we need to approve this.
Lord Tannen approved it already, Counselor.
Stop the person now. Who was it? Is it the person that just left?
Yes. You want me to race after that guard?
Yes. Yes.
I'll
stop
see if
now.
I can catch him. And you see he starts making his way down.
Good call.
Lord Tannen was trying to get a message out. Should we go see what it was, or?
We need to find Lord Tannen.
Yeah. So
the guard will recover the note, but Blixel, where was he?
In the meeting room right next to the council chambers.
We need to find out where he went. We need to.
I'm gonna tell this guard that when the other guard returns, that they should
Oh,
bring
this
the
way.
note to us immediately.
Do you want me to go at him? Because I'm kind of quick.
Blixel, as you open this door, you see Lord Tan looks up and he sees you and he says, "Come, oh, Lord Counselor Blixel, come on in, have a seat."
So even you want to call me Lord Blixel. Where is your nephew, Lord?
He nods. Yes, well, after you've used the title, sometimes slip of the tongue. I will explain. Oh, the other counselors are here as well. Yes, please, all of you, come on in. I will explain the situation.
I'll
He's
wait out
still
here
invisible.
I'll wait out here with Tavard.
I would say you still probably have like 15 minutes of invisibility.
All right, I'm gonna come in here and pretend I'm not here.
I'm sorry,
Sit in
I
this
was
chair.
I was AFK. Do you guys want me to go after the guard just to make sure we actually do? Because I'm fast.
Yes.
Okay, and I'll go with Tavard.
You're not going to catch up to me,
No,
dude.
I know, but I'll be with you in case something happens. Go.
Okay. Adam,
All right.
that's what I'm going to do. I'm sorry. I was kind of AFK for a second. So
Yeah, no worries. So you're chasing down that, seeing if you can catch up to that guard, and Gordon, you're trying to chase and catch up after Tavard. So, okay, I'm going to assume you guys are like, quote unquote, off screen at the moment. So once just the two of you enter this room, because there's only two of you in this room, Tannen will say, "Oh, is it just the two of you then, Blixel and Serena?"
Yes, it is.
Well, close the door then.
All right. Well, we have our concerns about your nephew, Lord Tannen. I'm sorry to say. I know your blood is important to you, but
He's nodding as you say this. Yes, you are completely correct, Counselor Blixel. I just spoke with him, and I've gotten the full story now, so I want to make sure to explain everything to you. So again, it's just the two of you. You don't want everybody to hear this?
They're busy.
I believe that they are trying to find your nephew right now.
Oh, well, that's unnecessary. Let me explain, please. Just give me a moment. So after I spoke with him, you see, he told me that he had been quite angry after I explained to him that we didn't have any opportunities for him to go on an adventure. He's a teenager, as you saw, Counselor Blixel, and well, he just seems like he thinks he knows it all already, which of course he doesn't. But after receiving that news and pouting, he made his way over to the Hog's Head Inn and he spoke to the proprietor there. And well, he was served some alcohol. He then apparently was speaking to her and complaining about how life is unfair and how you guys didn't want to give him a chance, teenager type things. Well, apparently the bartender there really sort of set him straight and said that no, that your group is actually quite competent and very skilled, and if they didn't want him going with you all, then it was for probably his own safety. Of course, he didn't seem to take too well to that. He said after that conversation, he was feeling even more angry, but another person in there asked him, sort of beckoned him over and spoke with him, and asked him many questions. And apparently this individual then, after a period of time and speaking, asked him to take on this mission of breaking into Counselor Celine's room and using a book that this person gave to him. He said that this book was magically enchanted, that when you placed it upon another book, it would make a copy of itself. So he left that copy of the book in the room, and he took the original copy when he left. Unfortunately, as he was climbing on the outskirts of the building, he did indeed fall. That's where he hurt his leg, which I'm sure you've pieced that together, Counselor Blixel. But apparently how this was supposed to work is that Blade would be notified through magical means. He said the words would just appear in his head that the time was right and that he should go and collect Counselor Celine. he did indeed hear those words, but he was here with me in the room when he did. I noticed him kind of fidgeting a bit. It was a bit strange, and he tried to leave, but I told him to sit down, and I was telling him he was acting very strange, and apparently he listened for once, and he didn't leave. He didn't tell me at that time why, but you see then what he was supposed to do is collect Counselor Saline, and he was given a potion of invisibility from the same contact. He was to dump it down her throat, making her invisible, and then he was to take her to a location here in Carolinian where he was to hand her over to this individual. And this individual explained to him that he would make Blade a hero. See, they would put Counselor Saline in this area, and then when Blade returned and Counselor Saline was discovered to be missing and the alarm went out, then he would come to you all and say, I'll help, I'll go look for her. And then, of course, he would know exactly where to find her. So he would go back to that place, free her, and then say that he scared off the person that did this, bring her back to the council, and this would win favor with you all, and he'd be in your good graces. I know this is a very silly plot, but as I said, he is a teenager.
So where is he now?
Yes, to that, he is secure. I have not tried to get him away or anything like that, Counselor. I'm sure that's your concern. I will remind you, however, that Cariele is, of course, a vestige of the Enwerian Empire, and according to imperial law, non-nobles cannot arrest or harm a noble person. So, as all of you are not nobles, you are counselors. I don't mean to be rude in that regard, but the only person that can issue any kind of arrest for a noble is the regent. So I have sent a note ahead to to Milena to explain to her exactly what has happened. That note will go to her. I've also, just in full transparency, I've sent one to Blade's mother and father, letting him know of the dire circumstances that he is in some very serious trouble. And I've asked them to come. Hopefully that will happen very soon. And then we can try to deal with this fully. I understand that you have many concerns, and I will answer any questions that I can, but he does know this location that he was supposed to take her, so I'm thinking that person that worked with him must be at that location. And I hate to ask this of you, but this person clearly made an attempt on Counselor Saline's life, and I, for one, really want to know why.
I agree, but I'd feel a lot better about it if we had your nephew with us, so we know he didn't warn them about us.
He did not. He is safe right now, but he is secure. Again, I'm not trying to allow him to escape justice in any way. And please don't take this the wrong way, I know sometimes folks of your disposition act a bit emotionally or rashly, and as he says this, you see him looking at Serena's big weapon, and I just wanted to make sure that nothing like that happened.
Grip is tightening.
Yeah, he definitely takes notice of that, but I just wanted to make sure that there was no harm done, right? Well, we will, of course, make sure that the law is followed, but don't you think, and again, I hate to be so presumptuous, but don't you think that you should go with him to that location as soon as possible, or he can tell you how to get there if you don't want to take him with you?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so do you think he needs to be there, or can he explain to you where the location is?
I'd rather him be there with us.
Okay.
He wants a taste of the adventuring life. Let this be the punishment.
This is it.
Well, clearly, this individual, whoever it is, that is working against our domain, our realm, they are somebody of means. It seems very likely somebody who has apparently potent magical abilities, right? So I want to make sure that he's not put in too much danger. As you remember, I asked if you had any opportunities, something easy. So I am okay with sending some guards along with him to point the location out to you, but I don't want him entering.
Very
Is that
well.
acceptable, counselors?
Well, I think you need to discuss if it's acceptable with him.
I will tell him that he is not allowed to enter, and I can say, just in speaking with him, noticing the change in his demeanor, I think he is finally starting to realize how serious this is. Again, he just had this childish notion that he was going to be the big hero after carrying through this plot, and then everybody would like him, and it's, as I said, very silly, very juvenile, but it is what it is. So I will certainly inform him that he is not to enter. But I think that all of you should go together. I wouldn't take this threat lightly. Whoever this person is, they obviously are someone of means. Would you like to collect the rest of the counselors and inform them and make sure they're all on the same page?
Yes, and I assure you, we do not take it lightly.
Good. I'm very glad to hear that, counselor. And as much as I can apologize upon my nephew's behalf and apologize on behalf of House Bosch, please allow me to do that. I'm very deeply sorry of his actions. If I even thought that he would do anything like this, I would not have brought him here. Trust me, I'm going to have some very stern words with his parents. And if Milena, the Countess, chooses to enforce any other penalties, then it will be up to her.
All right.
What did he say that Cariele was that invoked that rule?
He said it was a part of the old Enwerian Empire.
And maybe old Enwerian rule, but out in the hamlet, we handle things a little more rough and tumble. So I would advise your nephew to be careful about whose head he goes harming from now on.
I intend to, counselor. All right, so we'll pause there for a moment as we move over to Tavard and to Gordon, who's lollygagging behind a bit. Tavard, as you kind of zoom ahead, obviously with your speed, you are eventually able to catch up to these two guards. You basically see them chatting. They're out front of the castle, kind of towards the castle gates by the time you catch them. And you can see them having this, I won't call it a loud argument, but it certainly seems like a disagreement. And you basically hear one saying, no, the counselor said not to deliver these messages. And he's like, but the treasurer said to deliver them. And he said to do it right away.
Hey, I'm actually going to take those letters because I've got to go ahead and add some more information on them before we get them sent out properly, and I need to look at a few things. So I'll take those. You know, I'm one of the counselors, so I'm good. Go ahead and hand them over.
Give me a blind check, Tavard. You notice the guard, as you're saying this to, the one who has the missives, he looks at you and kind of like gives you this very doubting look. Counselor, there seems to be a lot of confusion here, but I can't just hand these over to you. Lord Tannen specifically asked me to deliver them. I'm happy to go back to the castle and clear this with Lord Tannen, but I'm not handing them to you.
So not knowing what happened in that room, and I would say, that's great, let's go.
You shout that from a distance away as you're still catching up?
Yeah.
All right. So unless you guys are trying to force the issue, the guard does seem like he will return.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do I recognize the guard?
If you do, you never heard a name attached to him.
I just want to make sure if I recognize him. Basically what I'm trying to do is trying to get a good idea to know that he's not like just a random spy kind of guy or something.
I'll let you throw a blind check to see if you get any kind of insight about something like that.
Well, I just mean if I don't recognize him, right?
You don't. But again, I would say that's not unusual, right? Because there's so many guards around that recognizing individual guards by face, you might notice some of them, but you're not going to notice all of them.
Sure.
So what I will say is, I don't know exactly why, Tavard. Maybe it's the crease of his nose. Maybe it's the dismissive way that he reacted to you. You feel like there's something not totally on the up and up here.
All right, I will. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say, Gordon, I think I've got this here, but if you want to go, but I'm going to escort this guard back to Lord Tannen, and we can deal with this there. And I'm really interested in finding out why this guard here doesn't trust the words of a councilman. I'm interested in getting to the bottom of that as well.
Yep, sounds good. Let's go.
All right, yeah, the guard easily makes his way back towards the castle. You notice the first guard that ran out to get that guard also comes back as well. Fast forward perhaps 10-ish minutes. You find yourselves all back in presumably the main room. Blixel, are you staying in the room with Lord Tannen? And Celine, you as well, keeping in mind that you have maybe 5 minutes left on invisibility at this point?
No, I'm going to leave and try to meet up with everybody and fill them in.
All right, so we'll assume you guys have all met right here in this area then.
And that's what he said about that.
It'd be ideal to just verify the letters.
Well,
Now, go ahead.
no, go ahead. You have them. Yep.
Well, I was just gonna. Well, the guard is to the side. I'm not talking in front of the guard, kind of thing. But I will tell them that this guard seems to be very dismissive, not wanting to give me the letters. But I will ask, and if we have some disagreements right now about Lord Tannen, how do we know he's still being on the up and up? I don't trust him anymore.
Well, if these letters say what he said they said, I think we can trust him. So.
No, that story you guys just gave is much longer than just what potentially these letters say, right? And doesn't mean that the letters he's giving off to the regent is accurate as well. I'm just saying that we may have some opportunities to utilize somebody's services again, if you know what I'm saying. The questioner.
The bottom line is we were cut out of the communication between a treasurer and the regent.
Yes.
All right.
And that is the biggest problem.
You're biased. How does everybody else feel?
Is he your boyfriend or something? I mean, come on.
I mean, clearly we've already established that Gordon doesn't trust him. He's showing this doubt and like.
I used to trust him until today. Now I don't trust him.
Why? He's saying, provided these letters say what he says they said.
He also said he wanted his nephew to come join us, so that's odd. He happened to have known where Selena's room was. That's odd. He went into the room area and everything, and now we have this story about him having this other. I'm just saying he's been talking about money lately and things, so maybe someone's buying. I mean, there's reasons. I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm just saying there are reasons to doubt his story.
Which is why we should read the letters. So
we're going to read the letters, but I'm just saying I don't trust.
We can't just open mail.
In his presence.
I'm the general of the Cariele. Watch me.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this.
Why don't we go into the room with him?
And
he whispers to the nearby people.
Disembodied voice.
And did you mention that he said that his nephew had a potion of invisibility? I mean, was he in the room using it? Is he using it right now?
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, it was. I mean, I can understand him.
He said he was keeping him somewhere safe and that he would accompany us and show us where the meeting place is.
Oh, well, let's just go ahead and trust that.
Hello, Lord Tannen.
He sees you return. He says, it's good to see you again, Counselor. I'm glad that you have gathered the... is it just the four of you? Is Counselor Celine still not feeling well?
She'll be here momentarily. I mean, given the fact that her life was put in danger, I think you can understand her reluctance to be here. And I know you're not going to be happy about this, but we intercepted your letters. We have members of our council who no longer believe in your allegiance, and we need proof that what the story you've told us here is accurate. So open your letters, show them to us that they're true, and we will resume. You can understand that since we've been living in this building, there's been 2 attempts on lives of members of this council. So we're a little perturbed. We're sorry it has to come to this. But that's what we're doing. If the letters say what you say, we'll send them out as you intended and wait for the regent.
Serena, go ahead and give me a blind persuasion check.
Okay, can we make that intimidation? Because I was trying to be a little intimidating, and also I'm not very persuasive.
I know I know you're not.
I'd feel intimidated.
I could be sold on an intimidation. And so what that means, though, is that you're taking more of like an aggressive stance toward him. You're trying to scare him.
You're not trying to be his bestie.
Because the
Oh.
way you worded it sounded very friendly, very reasonable.
Well, I'm like, I'm already expecting him to be pissed off that we retrieved his mail and now we want to go through it. But like, I'm like meeting this anticipated aggression with aggression right off the bat because Celine's life was in danger, and that's super messed up.
All right, so to spin this as intimidation, I would say pick one of the following. Like, either you're, like kind of like gesturing with your weapon towards him, right, implying like violence, or you're kind of using words like, when people do this around here, sometimes they just go missing, or those. That's what I would take as like intimidation. So, are you okay with doing one of those to him?
I'd like to physically be aggressive, like definitely holding my weapon and like towering over him, but then like confusing him like my words aren't as threatening.
Okay, all right, I can give you intimidation on that. So yeah, your physical posture with the weapon kind of more using the focus. Yeah, give me a blind check. You'll notice that he doesn't necessarily seem scared. He seems more angry as you're saying this. You notice his face kind of flushes red, and you can see his hands kind of like gripping a bit at the chair. And you see he takes a moment, and then he looks towards you, and he says, Counselor Serena, I'm happy to let you see the letters. There's no secrecy here. But yeah, it certainly seemed like it was important to have them sent. I see you have the guard behind you that I sent. Yes, bring the letters in. And you notice the guard does just that. He walks on in, sets them on the table, and then you see he looks at Lord Tannen, kind of looks at all of you except Celine, and then steps out. And you see
when the guard is leaving, I'm going to say, "And your name, please."
He looks at you, and you see he doesn't answer. He just kind of stares at you. And you'll see Lord Tannen opens these 2 letters and just kind of motions to you, Serena, to review them. And if you're wanting to, you could just say you review them if that's your intent.
I'm really tempted to make Gordon do it, but I will, in fact, peruse the letter to not give away who it is that no longer trusts him.
All right, fair enough. So essentially, yeah, it's exactly as he has said. So the first one basically is to the Countess, and essentially it doesn't say that it's his nephew there's an issue, but he says there's an issue with a noble person that if you wish to intervene upon, they have been caught up in some compromising circumstance. So he's not like over the top, like he's clearly guilty kind of thing, but it is, part and parcel of what he said. The other one is much more sternly worded, and he addresses it to Dear Sis, and he goes through it with pretty strong language. And you notice he doesn't use the word blade in this letter. He instead uses the name Anphilin.
I figured.
I'm gonna motion my hand so I can look at him from Serena.
I'll hand him over and I'll say we'll create a additional letter that can go to the regent, arguing our case for him to be arrested.
Counselor, I would strongly advise against that, but if you wish to do so, you can. I just want to remind you of the very precarious situation that this entails. Anytime that there is an issue with nobles, you're stepping on very, very fine lines. And being a noble, I'm just going to tell you how they will receive it. The general nobles in this area, it will not be well. If you want things to go smoothly with the council and how things are going, I strongly recommend you just allow the Countess to take care of this issue. This way, you're not wrapped up in anything that occurs. You can certainly give her your side of the story if you wish, or document things, but if you try to call for a noble's arrest, that's a step too far, would be my advice to you.
So, nobles can go around just threatening the lives of any person on the street?
Well said, Sarita, and I'll try to distract her a little bit.
A tithe must be paid, though, right?
Nobles cannot simply break any laws, but when a noble breaks a law or is accused of breaking a law, that has to be adjudicated by the regent. Not just any sheriff or any judge can adjudicate those here in the land. So, I'm informing the Countess the issue, and if she wishes to take action, she can. My assumption is once she gets this letter, she's going to summon me, she's going to ask me a million questions, and then she will make her ruling about what happens. I'm just saying, as your treasurer, and I hope I've earned the trust of most of you, that if you step on these lines, it will cause issues.
Are you telling me that she doesn't want to hear all the facts of the story? And I'm sorry, but you are a little bit biased in this situation. It is your own flesh and blood.
I am, yes, and I'm not saying you can't write up a letter and say what you've witnessed and state the facts. If you wish to do that, you can. But if you write in a letter, we ask that you arrest this noble, or we demand that you arrest, that's not going to go well. But if you want to make sure that what you've witnessed and your feelings about the matter are documented, then yes, feel free.
Look, Mr. Tannen, this is exactly the
Lord Tannen.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. This is exactly the point. We are the victims of an attempted assassination attempt, or who knows what could have happened. And we get cut out at the communication to the regent. And we're the victims of this. You could definitely see how we little suspicious about the communications. He's your nephew. I'm glad to see these letters are properly worded as you said so. That is a relief. But why you cut us out from the communications with the regent surprises me.
Well, I hope you can understand my position, Counselor, that overreaction would not be unexpected at this point. It would not surprise me if some of the members of your group wish to deal directly with my nephew and perhaps even use violence in doing so. You see, he once again glances at Serena and her massive weapon. So I wanted to save that event from occurring, not only for my nephew's sake, as you say, he is my own flesh and blood. I don't want to see him harmed, but also for your sake. If you physically harm a noble, your council will suddenly have way more enemies than it has today.
So I'll tap the letters in one of my palms and I'll look him in the eyes and I'll hand it over to him. And I say, well, thank you for being understanding of our reaction.
I completely understand. And yes, I don't blame you whatsoever. I certainly hope this whole issue can be resolved however the Countess wishes to resolve it. And then I hope that it doesn't affect our relationship. I will continue to give you very straightforward advice and recommendations. It is up to you if you wish to follow that or not. If you feel like you can't trust me any longer, I understand. If you wish to remove me as treasurer, I will understand that as well. But in the meantime, there is this issue right at our doorstep, and I fear that every moment that passes, we are losing time. Are you willing to go to where this meetup location was and try to address this?
Yes.
Absolutely.
There we will use violence.
Before Serena's hair gets even more red, and I'll give a smile and hand him the letters.
He takes them, and you see he folds them.
Well, wait, why are we giving them to him? We should give them to the guard so he can get going.
Well, we give back his property. That's the first thing I do is give back the property.
He looks like he's basically doing that. But yeah, that's going to take place.
And also, Celine should draft a letter, letting her, describing her experience.
Well, we can maybe do that later. Let's do this meetup first.
So after Lord Tannen hands the notes back to the guard, And he says, basically says, this is a bit of a misunderstanding. It's okay. Everybody calm down. The guard will then look at you, Tavern, and he said, my name is Razel. And then you see he turns and makes his way out with the letters.
Let's see why I didn't want to tell you.
All right. So as he makes his way out of there, Lord Tannen looks at you all and he says, okay, I hope that we are all back to an equal level. I hope everybody's feelings are in check. Are we ready to proceed?
Yeah.
Yeah, where's your nephew?
I'm going to show you. Follow me.
As we leave, I'll nod at Serena. Well done.
You notice he takes a key out of his pocket and he unlocks this door.
That was a shit roll.
Blixel, you notice Blade standing here against the back wall, and you see he looks up at you as you enter, and you can see that there's like, you can basically see signs that it looks like he has recently been crying. His eyes are like kind of rubbed quite a bit red.
Hey, it'll be okay.
So
Just bring us to whoever put you up to such silly nonsense.
is Celine visible yet?
She's still got maybe a minute. Lord
That's
Tannen,
your only way out of this.
Lord Tannen like puts his hand up towards you, Blixel. He says, just a moment. And you see he turns to him and kind of pretty quickly he's like saying, you need to show them. I'm going to send some guards with you to make sure nothing happens. Answer the counselor's questions, whatever they have to ask of you. And you are not to enter the location you're referring to. And you see he just kind of like slowly nods. It seems like all of his bravado has since completely evaporated. All right, so looping this all together, moving a little bit quickly. Is there anything special you guys are wanting to do other than make your way out, wait for these guards, and then head to this location?
I still feel very strongly that we should get our side of the story to Melina as close to Lord Tannen getting his side of the story to her as possible. So if anybody else feels that way, I don't think
Well,
it's
I
up to
agree, but that's drafting a letter and everything. That may be more time or whatever. But if that was done later tonight or tomorrow, I don't think that much time passing will be, will affect either way.
We could wait because if we can explain the severity of the attack based on the consequences of what their actions when we confront them. We haven't got all the evidence yet. We're going to get some more, and then we'll write the letter.
All right.
All right, so in this time, of course, the invisibility spell is going to fade. Celine, are you trying to be somewhere out of the way once that happens?
Yeah, I'll bounce around this corner here as I feel it fading, and then I'll walk. As it's fading, I'll walk into.
Keep these guards on their toes.
All right, yeah, I will say just because you kind of have a good idea of how this works at this point, you're doing what you can to try not to be noticed. Go ahead and throw me a blind check to see how well you do at this. You don't think it's going to be too challenging?
I'm gonna fuck it up anyway. Now that you've said that.
Yes, you will notice several of the guards go, whoa, whoa, and they just kind of see you appear, and there's quite a bit of shock, and you see some of them looking down the hallway, and they say, she just appeared out of nowhere. Is everything okay?
I just give them an embarrassed little wave and don't say anything and keep walking.
You notice one of the guards approaches you, Tavern, and he says, is that okay? I know everything's like really hot right now. Lord Tannen, is everything fine? That's strange, right?
I tell you, it's definitely going to be one of those days, but, it is what it is. Nothing unusual here. It's kind of strange around here, isn't it?
All right, fair enough. So this
reporting it.
Speaking of that and appearing, as a sign of good faith, could we possibly have your potion, Blade?
Yeah, give me a blind check there, Blixel. You'll see he kind of like slowly reaches into the satchel at his side, and he produces this fairly thin vial. It looks like it's maybe only like 6 inches tall and pretty narrow, and his hand shakes as he hands it over to you.
There. Yeah, you won't need this anymore, Blade. It's okay. It's all over. Just show us where to go. We'll take care of this, all right?
And you see he's nodding. All right, so yeah, unless there's anything else special you guys want to do, he goes out in the front and gathers these guards, and he's ready to lead you to this location.
Well, before we go there, can we like ask him like basic questions like
You sure can, yeah.
what does this person look like? Like
Yeah, who's he supposed
How-
to meet?
how
How,
do-
many
how-
are going to be there? That type. What's
Yeah.
the signals? What's the
How much
signs?
did they offer him?
I only saw one person, and he was in the inn, and he had this like cloak with a hood on it. And he kept it up most of the time, but he had like brown eyes, but they were like real big, like real strong, and the way he talked, he was like it sometimes sounded like he was talking through like rocks or something, like a gravelly kind of sound. I don't know how else to describe it. He just said that to bring Counselor Saline, and you see he looks towards you, Saline, kind of wincing as he does, to this location, and just bring her inside, and he would take care of it from there. And he didn't say that there'd be anybody else there.
From the
Wow.
description, does it ring any bells like anyone I might know? It's probably pretty hard. 'cause
I
he
would say
had
that's
his-
so vague that, yeah, no.
Well, more than likely, they wanted you to show up so they can take care of loose ends, if you know what I mean.
That's what Uncle Tannen said, but maybe, yeah, maybe.
And did they offer you anything in addition? I mean, other than your revenge?
They said I was going to be a hero. That's what he told me. He said everybody would be really happy, and then I'd be really popular, and I'd have a lot more friends, and people would just be looking to me to solve problems, and I was going to have this great life.
I was gonna
Yeah.
give a speech about not killing people, but I do it all the time, so I just storm off.
Well,
Well,
if
if
something
this-
sounds too good to be true, it usually is.
Well, and maybe
nods.
if this maybe turns out better than it started, then maybe you'll still be able to keep your chin up, if you know what I mean. Be proud of yourself for seeing the wisdom of your uncle's words here.
He nods again. You see he kind of looks over towards his uncle and then lowers his head.
All right. Come be a hero, but for us, all right? All right, Blade?
Let's go adventuring.
He nods once again. All right, yeah, he is heads out front. You notice that there's like a cordon of guards around him. You get the sense that these guards are taking this very seriously. So these are not castle guards. You could think of these as like house guards. They basically come from House Bosch, so they're loyal to Lord Tannen and his family, in case that becomes important. But is there anything particular you guys are doing other than allowing Blade to lead you to this location?
How far away is it? Do we have the chance to make at least one of us invisible before we get there?
You absolutely could. Yeah, he's taking you into the city. So right now you're in the castle, and he's explained to you that this is a location in the city. He's just going to lead you to it. You're imagining it's something like, I don't know, quarter a mile away from the castle, something like that.
Adam,
Just
I'd like to. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say to the party, just keep in mind that this person has access to certain levels of magical ability. So whatever we're planning to do here, just keep that in mind.
Adam, I'd like to just do an inside check to see if I believe the boy is actually remorseful.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and give me a blind check. You do, yeah. You see, he seems to have all the telltale signs that he's very much ashamed of his actions.
Okay.
Well, I guess I better ask this culprit if they're a lord first.
Yeah, what
Before
happens if we
I-
get there and it's a noble?
Can't do anything around here.
All right, so you guys follow Blade here as he is in the middle of this cordon of house soldiers, and he's walking down and walking, I will say, a little bit more slowly maybe than normal, but you see he keeps kind of like wiping at his face as this occurs. Eventually, he gets to this area of the street after kind of looping a couple different directions, and then you see he points to the north to this old looking manor house. It looks a little bit dilapidated. He said in there.
All right,
All right.
before
So just to give you a quick description of roughly what you're looking at, guys. So there's this outer wall that seems to stretch around this manor house. You can see there's like an old dead tree here that's kind of hanging up and leaning over. Same over in this area as well. There's a entryway here, like a porch, and this is a covered porch, so this does have a roof. Each of these little like knobs you're noticing, think of these as like posts that are holding up the second floor. There's the building itself. As already mentioned, it definitely looks a little bit run down, not like haunted house run down, but it certainly has seen better days. If you have any specific questions about area of the home or anything, obviously feel free to ask those questions.
As we approach, I pop Serena, Blixel, and Tavard for 5.
Okay.
Okay, so
Thank you.
before we all go charging in, there's two possibilities. I think that if they see me up and walking around, they're not going to be very happy, and the jig is going to be up immediately. So I should probably be invisible when we go in there. There's also the possibility, Blixel, if you have the magic available, we could try sending people in to at least scout out the windows or something, try to get a head count or something in there. I know that plan has not historically worked very well for us, though. So, I mean, what's the alternative? Are we just gonna go in guns blazing?
Doesn't
I
matter.
think we should try to trick them. Sure.
Guns blazing, you killed Celine.
Well, they're expecting me to be carried in invisible, but they're also just expecting, the kid. So,
And he's not going in,
and
right?
he's not going in. No, it's too dangerous for him. So, I mean, how are we approaching
That's
this?
what we should do.
I could go around back and see if there's, do a little bit of scouting. How high is the walls, Adam?
The outer wall is about 18 feet high.
Maybe silly questions, but do I hear any dogs barking or anything?
You do, but not coming from the direction of this house. They seem to be more like away from you. So again, don't think of this as being like really isolated. It's in the city, so occasionally you are going to see people walking back and forth, but it's a little bit more of setback part of the city, you could say. So there's not people everywhere. It's a little bit less populated.
What's the plan? I'm on board.
We go and confront him. I think if we try subterfuge, it never really seems to work, and then we get separated.
And then it's a whole thing.
Yeah, let's just go together and say, "Hey, what up? Look who's here."
I still
First
think I should be
water.
invisible at the start.
No, you should, of course.
I can maybe get like a important counter spell off.
Right.
Yep.
Or you could just drink this potion.
Well, about that, can I have a look at it?
Sure.
Yeah, make sure it is what it said in it.
Yeah,
Oh.
so I wanna look at it and see if it looks like a potion of invisibility. I don't know if I necessarily know what one looks like, but I'm starting to believe that there is a possibility that I mean, obviously the guy lied to the kid about what was going to happen afterwards, but maybe he also lied about the contents of the potion. Maybe the potion was meant to kill me.
Yeah, it's a potion of death. Just identify it.
Oh, it would take me 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Oh.
so what I was going to say, unless you have some kind of special skill, I wouldn't say that every single potion of invisibility looks exactly the same. So it's not like you look for the sticker and it's like, oh, yeah, you know. So, yeah, identify certainly would do the trick. But short of that, unless you can think of something you have that would give you some kind of special knowledge, I'm trying to draw on a blank.
Not really, except for my background is like a. But potions of invisibility aren't like medicine, so I don't think so.
Right. Yeah. Like if you were like an alchemist or, you know, you spent a lot of your time crafting potions, then I might allow you a check. But yeah, I don't think
Sure.
anything specific.
I don't really want to back off for 10 minutes, but I am a bit concerned about the contents of this potion.
Just burn a spell slot. It might be worth it in this case. I mean, what would it be? What's a potion of instant death? Like, I don't even know if that exists.
Well, any number of poisons that, you know, cripple me or otherwise, but doesn't necessarily kill me outright. Blixel, do you have the magic to spare? I don't have that spell prepared.
I can't identify, I don't think.
I'm asking about invisibility.
Oh, yeah, I can cast invisibility on people.
Hey, do it. She doesn't want to drink the mystery potion.
Okay. Well, should I do 2 people?
No.
All right. In that case, let me just use the loot. So I'll take out the loot.
I thought you did that one already, no?
Visibility?
I know you
Oh,
used
yeah, I
two
did.
spells from
Yeah,
the loot. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I did do that. All right. So in that case, yeah, I will cast it at 2nd level.
Okay. You are concentrating, and Saline is invisible. You notice one of the house guards looks to you and he says, "You're all set, right? We can get him back to the castle."
Do we want him to ask them to see if they would be willing to stay here in case anyone tries to run out the main entrance?
We got the guy's name and everything, right? From the kid?
The guy?
No, I don't think the guy would have given a real name, even if he gave any name.
Description, it was a hooded figure and all that. Yeah, okay.
Did he give you any kind of password, Blade?
He shakes his head. No.
Where are you supposed to drop her off in there?
He said to just go in through the front door and put her over by the piano.
Oh, he's an artist, huh?
We could bundle ourselves up and have one person go in.
I actually, I think we should all just walk in.
Okay.
The more we complicate this, the more chances there are that
It
things
does.
go
It
wrong.
never seems to.
All right. You're fair enough. Let's
I
go.
say to the guards, if you don't care to see if we live or die, then yes, you're free to go.
We must get
start
him
walking
back to the
immediately.
castle.
Could be entertaining.
You notice one of them kind of snickers towards you with a little bit of a grin on his face, and he gives you like a quick wink. But the one who seemingly is in charge of these house guards, you see he just kind of motions and they start making their way off.
Man, winking at a general. Interesting.
Well, sometimes she's funny.
All right, as you step onto this wooden porch, you hear the sound of creaking wood underneath your feet.
Adam, I see 2 doors. Is there a reason for that?
It's a set of double doors.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to go ahead and confirm.
Blixo motions to Serena to be his guest.
All right. Whom?
All right, as the door is open, you notice that there is some light filtering in through the upper levels of this home, which makes it pretty easy to see in here. You notice that there is this sort of old-looking runner that stretches from the ground here right close to the door, all the way stretching out to the north. You can see that there is a staircase to the north there. You also notice, Serena, that there is a separate room to your west, and you spot a weird-looking statue.
I'm sure that means nothing.
Very artsy.
I'm not gonna announce myself. I'm just gonna step in.
Okay. All right, as you're making your way more in, Serena, you notice another statue, and then another statue, and a piano.
Go over by the piano.
Should we investigate these statues first? Oh, there's another one over there.
Now that I
What
can
on
see them, do I have a decent view of them? Can I try to see what they are?
They look to be statues. Give me a blind check to see if anything, really sticks out to you. Blixel, that picks up nothing. No, you don't notice anything out of the ordinary with these statues. They look to be some kind of flying cat, would be your best guess, is what they're trying to depict.
Sure.
Detecting magic. Serena, you do detect magic on, let's see, how far? 60 feet? You detect magic on this statue.
I detect magic on that statue.
Well, maybe I can just dispel it before you drop down approach the piano. That statue over there behind the piano?
Right there.
All right.
Careful.
Well, we're not dropping her body down anyway. I'm just gonna say hello. Hey, we got the body.
All right, as you call this out, there's a few moments of silence, and then I'm going to lock tokens. You spot from this statue that looks just to be like a flying cat of some kind. You notice there's like a ripple in the metal that the statue is made of, and then you see a face appears. And as it does so, it's kind of strangely like stretched out in this metal. The face itself looks to be very much shrouded, so think like cloaked face. You can see that there's a little bit of a window between like a face mask kind of thing, like a bandana across the lips and the lower mouth, and then there's like a cowl pulled up. So basically you're just seeing these brown eyes for the most part, and as the face appears, you see, or you don't see the lips or anything like that or the statue moving, but you hear this voice coming from that direction, and it says, "You are not the twerp."
Good description. Well, you wanted to see Celine. What is this regarding?
He hired us.
All right, and as you guys are standing there looking around, you notice now this statue begins to move, and I'm going to put us into initiative order.
And which statue was that, Adam?
I will reveal the HP bar on the one that has a face on it at the moment. All right, it is that one there. And let's see, let me make sure this is all sorted
Oh,
properly.
I thought that was the person talking. Where's the person that was talking, please? When you have a moment.
It's he went. It's like almost an illusion through the statue
Oh,
of a
okay.
face.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, and let's put a little bit more up-tempo music here. Okay, so you notice that statue just shifts ever so slightly, as though it's just starting to move. Tavern, you are the first to react. Let me unlock tokens, and feel free to take your turn.
Do we want to fight the statues or take care of other business?
Well, she did her magical awareness. That was the only statue within 60 feet that had magic to it.
That the other ones are all in the fucking.
I
in the
guess.
order too.
All right. Let's see. I am actually just going to go ahead and I'm going to hit twice.
Okay.
I'm going to take a chance and hold on to my patient defense for right now. I want to see how my Warhammer does on this thing first.
Your Warhammer cracks into it, seemingly wounding it.
And that's my second attack.